What? We started?
Yep.
All right, so this is episode 4/5.
4/5, yeah. Sorry, folks. Yeah. So we recorded an episode 2 weeks ago, and
there was no sound.
There
was sound, but the sound didn't record.
It was my fault because we're trying this new video.
Yeah, we got a new thing.
And I just didn't have all the audio settings.
So this is episode 5.
Technically, it's episode 5, but we're going to still call it 4. And we have a special guest today. We have Kristen.
Oh.
Kristen is the first American IFBB Wellness Pro.
Yes, Bennett, right?
Yes,
Bennett.
correct.
And then...
And I have to brag because I really was excited to have you on the show because you're doing such awesome work.
See, he doesn't care about me.
No,
he gets to deal with me every day.
No, because I've never had this kind of particular therapy done
absolutely.
before, which is the dry needling. And man, it's made a huge difference. And as an aging bodybuilder, I'm not spring chicken.
Well, you can say Kristen's a doctor of physical therapy
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I never
specializes in athletes.
I never had this particular therapy before.
Yes.
And so I didn't know how really. I mean, I've had athletes do it, and cupping and all that stuff, but I've never actually did it myself.
Yeah.
And so now, after I've done it a couple times, it's like, wow, this is fucking powerful shit.
It's crazy.
Definitely get to see the changes.
Well, we went live while you were getting it done.
Yeah,
everybody didn't see that, but a bunch of people did. It was like watch Tag get tortured.
Pretty much.
Those are my
for an
quads.
hour.
Those are my quads.
That
I'm
was
looking
awesome.
forward to doing that again because that wasn't so bad. The chest, by far, for me, when you
More
do
sensitive.
much more sensitive. That hurts. But the quads, I can deal with that.
Dude, I cry like a little girl. Like it's horrible.
But see, you're the lucky man. You live with
Fine,
it. You
and
guys
it's just
do,
like whatever,
You get this shit all the time. Doesn't he start?
No.
Doesn't it? No.
No,
He doesn't love it.
No, I don't love it, but it works.
He
It's
puts up a
good.
fight
It's good.
every time. He's like, no, I don't want to do it.
So what is the how do you evaluate when you have athletes or something coming in? I assume you work with everybody, right?
Everyone, yeah.
And so what are some of the common things you see when you say this is what you should be using this modality?
Like, what would you use dry needling for? Like the common person first.
I mean, most common, I see literally everything. You name it. Knee replacements, hip replacements, back pain, shoulder pain, whatever it is. And we'll do it for everything. For our realm of like bodybuilding, things like that, you're not getting a muscle firing properly, or like stuff with your chest, say we can't get some of the areas, both of you guys have it, that lateral portion of your pec, the border's just not firing.
And I see this.
Can't really wake it up.
So when I look at other bodybuilders on stage, especially as a judge, I see a lot of that with guys who are over 40.
Common.
So
Right.
why is this?
It could be how we are nowadays, just sitting forward rounded shoulders at our computers all day long. We're starting to promote that forward rounded shoulder. So we're just not getting the same techniques.
I feel like,
Things that get turned off a little bit. We get a little overactive in that front delt.
yeah, for me, I know it's my mousing, and I've been at a computer for like 30 years, and I'm always doing it with my right hand, and so this is the side that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's the bigger problem. I know that's probably contributing pretty
Huge.
greatly.
Right.
The other one is people like sleep on one shoulder, your right hand dominant, left hand dominant, something like that, and that starts to contribute to some of your overactive in one portion, underactive in another area. So that's where we start getting some of those compensations.
I noticed when I retired from competing, I was much bigger. I was like 245, 255.
He's like 300 pounds. I was in my dreams. I was
Well,
300 pounds every
And
day.
at one time I was 270,
Yeah,
over
yeah.
270, but when I downsized my physique, I started to feel all these things. When I had all this muscle, I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
So is that common?
Yes and no. Sometimes you'll have the opposite. People feel more when they're very
Oh, okay.
large because you're constantly wearing down muscles. You're always on the go, always on the go. So you kind of get some weird firings with stuff like that. It's very different for each person. So some people come in and they're like, I have no problems activating. Things just are super tight and they don't calm down. And then you can use dry needling for the same thing. So some people have super tight upper traps. They just get constant tension, headaches, pain like that. They're always in this shoulder elevated position. You can actually dry needle to get it to calm down and start to relax.
So
you
I have a
can do
question.
it for
So
both.
how does it actually work? Like you had said something about the neurological fire. What does it do? Like what is it
so-
actually doing?
So you're
in the
inserting the
muscle?
needle. I see you. You're inserting the
Yeah.
needle directly into the muscle.
Into the muscle belly. So you're disrupting the nervous signal. Typically, if I want to extend my leg, my brain tells my leg, like, that's what I'm going to do. Well, when I put a needle directly into the muscle belly and you get that weird twitch, sometimes you've gotten, in your pecs, you've
Right.
well felt that. You're sending a new signal. So you're creating a new firing. It goes from the muscle to the brain that says, oh, something's going on there. We need to change what we're doing at that site.
Oh.
So you're disrupting that nervous signal. Typically, it's brain tells the muscle what to do. In this sense, it's the muscles telling the brain something else is going on. We need to change what we're doing.
and sort of make the transition, explain to people how this is beneficial, like why this actually helps them to, like for me, it's absolutely filling my chest out better, I'm activating my muscles heart better during my workouts, and I'm getting a better pump.
Yeah, so a couple different things. If we're trying to get that muscle to relax, so upper traps, things like that, that kind of tension, you can get it to, you fire out, you fatigue that muscle belly so it calms down. You get a relaxation effect from it.
Okay.
But if I'm trying to wake a muscle up, I can do it in a similar pattern. I'm still gonna like piston that needle around and through there, get those muscles to fire and
I know, I
start
see you
waking
doing
up.
this shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't look good. I don't know. Don't look.
Just close your eyes. But you want to watch. I do better if I can
You
see.
don't want to watch.
I don't. I'd rather just talk to you
Just
and
get it
like let you do
done,
your magic, do your magic, man. But I know you're like, I gotta see it.
Yeah, I want to see what's going on.
He was like, I'm gonna try it on myself first before I even let you. I was like,
Because
oh,
I
what are
see
you doing?
100%. I'm like, I'm just going to needle my own back. Hold on, let's see here.
See,
But you can't do it because it's like a lung field, and then you die and punch through a lung.
Oh fuck!
and
There you go.
See, that's what.
Just
See, that's
had
what
to
I
tell
told.
him, didn't you?
See,
don't wanna
that's
do
all
that.
I think about the whole time. I'm like, oh shit, oh shit.
I'm gonna die in about 5 seconds.
No,
I'm like,
you
I'm
should
getting
not
punished
have
for
that
that quad workout yesterday.
That may be a truthful statement there. Every once in a while.
One of the benefits of having your girlfriend as your therapist and your boyfriend as your trainer.
It's a lot of just beat up.
You
That's
guys just beat the
it.
shit out of each other. Maybe that's healthier. I don't know. Get a little bit of
Get it
outlet.
out, yeah.
Well, what got you involved in all this stuff in the first place?
I have always been in athletics and stuff like that all growing up, but I actually fractured my hip when I was in high school, just overtraining, and they used dry needling, cupping, scraping, everything like that to help me get back so I didn't have to have a hip replacement or
Oh wow.
a hip like surgery.
Surgery.
And I just didn't want to do
Yeah.
that. I was 17 years old. Last thing you
That
want
would
to do.
suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Talking about
I
ending your career.
did a full like rehab all through PT stuff. It
So
took me
that-
about a year to rehab back from it, and that's when I was like, no, this is exactly how I want to help people.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So
it's
I just want to make
interesting.
them have to go to the physical therapist because they're so fucked up.
I'd rather just tell them to go.
I'm like, so what
It's
we're
like I
going
wanna
to do
hurt
today
them.
is make sure you can't walk.
So explain to me and everybody else what. And some people already know this, but what's the difference, and when would you use cupping versus dry needling?
Okay, so there's a whole different like a whole bunch of different variables that fall in for that. So like
And you use suction type. I've seen some people do the little with the little match. They
yeah, that's like traditional medicine.
Yeah,
that's old school. That's
Traditional
like-
Chinese medicine.
that's like
We're
old
not
school
allowed to use
cupping.
matches in the,
course,
in the
well,
clinic.
you just
So
create
that's
a
why we that's why we don't use that. We just use a negative pressure with the pump system.
that makes sense to me.
A
But
little
so
bit
what it
safer.
does is talking about the pump. She was telling me about this because
Yeah, well,
this was
you
a
just
new
start
thing, right?
getting, you like increase the muscle belly into the cup. So it creates a negative pressure and you start getting blood flow deep to the muscle.
So it's like stretching the fascia out. and all
Yeah,
this.
it
Okay.
pulls it up into the cup. That's why you get the
It looks.
that's why it hurts so bad on my legs. Remember how tight you were saying my skin was?
'Cause I don't
Dude,
feel it.
I hate getting cupped on my legs, but my upper's fine. And remember when we were doing skin folding?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, your fascia's so tight, dude.
Your
Like,
fascia's very tight,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Yeah.
stupid.
Shit.
But it really hurts.
So mine's super loose, so
Yeah.
I don't. So that cupping.
It
Yeah,
didn't
but
bother
like on my
you.
back,
I don't know.
shoulders, everything
I
doesn't
hardly
phase me.
feel
But
it.
legs, I'm like, it's ripping the hair out, but it's really just ripping the
So-
skin away.
So I've always linked this because people have asked me this over the years, and all I can best tell is that some people's fascia just is very tight.
Some people are
And-
prone to super tight fascia,
And that's just a
tight
genetic
muscles.
thing.
Genetically, they become more tense after a workout. Some people can train every single day and never have any issues with muscle tension and things like that. Just
I generally have it
their
until I got
chemical
over 40.
balances.
And I
Yeah.
start, and I'm doing a lot of repetitive stuff. And then I would get nothing in my back as much as in the shoulder, in the bicep.
And
tendon,
through
right?
that front. Yeah. Well, that comes with some of
Yeah.
all your mouse work too.
All the repetitive motions and stuff like
Always,
that.
constantly.
And my brother was that? Yeah, right. I haven't used that shit until like the last year and a half.
Oh my god.
It's the safest. It's the safest way for safe. I'll tell you what, it saves you a lot of relationship shit.
Oh, yeah.
It saved me a lot of relationship shit. I don't need that kind of circus shit in my life.
That's funny.
Sorry, you're in the middle
No,
of this.
you're not. It's just
So
another
this
day.
is
This is
normal.
a training session for us.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, normally, like Zach and I.
Oh, you
talk
should have
about
heard
chest
today's.
and
Yeah. Sean was in there with us today.
Oh
God.
my gosh.
Oh yeah, my gosh. Well, I think we tortured him on that work.
Oh, we destroyed him.
Because he's like,
he did more than 2 exercises. He died.
Yeah.
He did chest with us today. Yeah.
Big Sean?
Yeah, Jason Momoa.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I even told him, hey man, you should dress up as fucking
He's like,
Aquaman.
I've never heard that before. I look like Wesley Snipes.
I'm like,
and Tad's like, huh?
I'm like, huh? I'm like, because he sounded like he was fucking telling me the truth.
Yeah.
I'm like, I take people for what their word. I'm like, he's fucking bullshit. And they're like,
Yeah.
he's black. He's like, he's black.
And tiny. He's like 5'6".
Nobody fucking looks like Jason. The guy looks like Jason Momoa, man.
Oh,
He
just
looks
like
he doesn't
him.
look like a scar right
Yeah.
here. Like he looked just
Take the
like
tattoos
Twins.
away. Yeah.
Except he might be taller, right? Jason Momoa's like 6'1".
No, Jason Momoa is 6'4".
Is he really?
Yeah, but Sean's like 6'7".
Have you seen Jason Momoa when he was like in the...
Yes, when he's got like the little short hair, and I already know what you're talking about.
2000 to like 2007.
Yeah, he was like
he was
like on the OC or something.
Oh, no, and he got voted in Hawaii as like the sexiest man.
He had no scar.
He was fucking beautiful.
He had
was
no
like
scar.
really attractive looking.
Baby face.
Yes.
Like clean shaved, little short.
It wasn't until after he
butt
got into a
cut.
bar fight,
Yeah.
got slashed in the face, got the scar. They thought, oh, your career's over. Nope. He's bigger than
He was
ever
tiny, and now he's just this. I was like, yeah, fuck this. I got my ass beat. I get hit in the face. I'm putting on 50 pounds of muscle and getting tattooed. Everybody's like, oh my god.
I mean, I follow on Instagram. He does axe throws.
Oh, he does all kinds
everything.
of stuff. Yeah.
Everything.
One of the coolest things was when Aquaman first came out, the first one, he went out to New York and he put it on his Instagram, a little post, a little video of him. He was like pointing up and he's like, see, check it out, this is really cool. And then you point up and you see this huge, gigantic on like Times Square, a big poster of him with Aquaman, right?
Oh my
It was like one of their promotional things, right? And then some guy, fucking random dude walks by. He's like, hey man, that's you, man. He's like, yeah, man, that's me. He's like, can I get a picture? He's like, sure, man, let's do it.
That's awesome.
I know.
So genuine.
He's like such a happy person. It seems like all the time.
He's married to
Lenny Kravitz's wife.
Yes.
I have no idea who it is.
She was on the Cosby Show.
Yeah.
She had the dreadlocks. What's her name? She's really pretty. Anyways,
It's Lenny Kravitz's wife. That's all I know.
she's like 10 years older than he is.
Yeah.
Because he's only like,
Really?
He's my
39,
age.
yeah,
No, he's
36.
like 36, 37.
because she's like my age.
Yeah.
Or older.
Yeah.
Like
She could be his mom.
Dang.
Yeah, but she looks
No,
great.
whatever.
She looks
Yeah,
wonderful.
you
Like,
never know.
They have like 3 kids or whatever. Like he's totally into her. It's like I think it's great. I'm like,
That's awesome.
oh yeah, he has posted all this great stuff. So it's really cool.
Oh, so good.
So why would
Yeah.
so somebody would do cupping if they want to increase like some circulation?
Increase
So
like blood flow in through there, helps kind of break up some of the regular scar tissue that we get throughout the day. It's similar to scraping,
Okay,
just
that's what I was
like
going to say.
a
Is
little
how much
different.
different?
That's
So-
that's also something new that
Yeah, so cupping kind of creates that negative pressure and sucks the muscle up, where scraping compresses the muscle and kind of you scrape it.
you could feel
and
the
break
difference
it
on
down.
scraping.
Yeah, you can
But
feel that
sometimes she'll
fibrotic
take
tissue.
the cup, and she'll like do it and then use it like a scraping technique.
You
Oh
like,
yeah, you do.
Yeah, that
you
sucks.
just reduce some of the pressure. Like what I put on and leave there, I would not use the same pressure to move it.
Oh, I
You
see.
could like decrease some suction. Yeah, 'cause
I mean, you could, but
it would hurt. And everyone's, some people are like, it's sometimes a placebo effect. Like some people are like, I don't feel anything. And sometimes people are like, 100%, I definitely feel a difference.
Well, I definitely, from my experience, I don't know if it's because of what I needed, but I liked it, but I didn't really feel. I didn't like. It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it was bad, but I definitely felt it from day one. The needling, like I was
Yes.
absolutely like bar none.
Yeah.
And there are some people
Oh, it's
that are
great.
like, absolutely not doing needles. I have a horrible reaction to needling. And that's just like,
I say it
like
every day and I still
overall-
get it done.
No, like some people actually have like an overall sympathetic, like they don't.
Sympathetic nervous response.
Yeah, like they'll like pass out almost. They're just thinking about
pass out and
needles.
keep going. I wish.
I've
Just
seen
knock me out and go to
So
bed.
I've known people that when the doctor gives them a shot, as soon as they see that needle, man, they're gone.
Instantly. So same
Really?
thing. Like I would never needle someone that has that kind of reaction. That's just
I never
silly.
understood this. I don't like. I guess I.
I'm scared of needles,
He's
clearly.
like terrified of that.
Yeah,
He
you're exactly.
psychs himself out before like that.
It's
treatment
not that.
actually
It's
happens.
like, but it's. I told her it's literally lung field.
So what's
That's
the-
it. I just don't like it because I'm like, whoa, what if? Not that I don't even. It's
So
not
you,
that I don't
you
trust
really
her.
don't want me to take some scary stories about pinning yourself, right?
Oh, I know all the time. I'm not gonna talk about that. That's way different. I'm doing it to myself. Like if I was needling myself, I wouldn't care.
Oh, okay. Because
it's so
It's the same
interesting.
thing.
It
It's like
just
I'm
doesn't
scared to death
trust.
to fly, but if I was flying the plane, I wouldn't care.
oh really?
Yeah, then it's my fault.
interesting.
Yeah,
You mean
it's a
even if the
control-
dude
it's
who's
a
been
control thing.
the guy's been flying
Don't
for
care.
50 years?
Nope.
Oh man, I don't trust that motherfucker.
I know, me too.
But I mean, it's not that. It's like I would feel more comfortable. I would still hate it, even though I fly all the time. I don't like it.
Well, that's right. You were saying that you don't like to fly. I always find this strange when people don't like to fly.
Me too.
Just purely statistically. Because statistically, you are more likely to be in an accident on the freeway than you are ever in a plane.
I know.
I mean, just
But
statistically.
still.
I get it. Don't get me wrong, because
I also had a friend. I also had
the fucking airplane crash.
two friends that were like big in like the air industry. They just bashed me with horror stories, and I'm like, they're like, you have no idea how many times shit goes wrong on a plane. It's like, I
don't tell me
guarantee
that,
there's been a bunch of times. They're like, the engine's gone out. You've still been on the plane, and I'm like, why would you tell me that? Like, why? I never want to get on a fucking plane again. Fuck you.
I was listening to
One of them was in a plane crash.
Oh, jeez.
He was a pilot. He plastered a crane taking off like a little whatever and flipped it. And,
Oh, a Cessna, like a Cessna or something?
no, I mean it was like 20,
Oh, a 20-seater?
like a 20
Oh
seat.
my
That's a pretty big
gosh.
jet. That's going to be a jet, right?
It was a prop.
Oh, it was a prop plane. Okay.
This is like back in like the 80s, like 70s, 80s, but a wind just literally he's going up and the wind took him and went.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
They usually have weather things to tell them.
Yeah, but if it gusts across, like
It's the
just
shearing
catches
winds,
it.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's I always wanted to learn how to fly a helicopter, but they say rotorcraft is much more difficult to learn than it is.
Yeah, it sounds
It
terrible.
takes a lot of.
It's foot pedal stuff.
Yeah, you
You
got
drive a stick?
Yeah.
You probably drive a helicopter then. That's how I would think. I'm like,
Oh, man. But I would love to learn how to.
terrified. Cannot drive a stick. Won't even try.
No,
Really?
Absolutely not.
Well,
Nobody
My
can.
first car had like backup mirrors. In it, so-
I don't know.
I was driving a Z06 Corvette in San Francisco and all those hills.
She didn't even turn 16 to like 2008.
Oh, well, I was
I
driving.
was out of
Point
college.
is, you know what?
It's okay. It's
Sorry.
I figured out what my net problem is. It's because I sit on this side and look at him every week. That's exactly what it is.
You can
I'm
sit
like,
on this
oh,
side,
God.
you can rather right next week. We'll just flip it for every week.
Yeah, no. I'm like, but you know, I've had that neck thing, and I'm like,
Yeah, I know.
looking, I'm like, oh shit.
Twist your chair.
Sorry, guys, if I'm.
Just move your chair slightly over this way, baby. Yeah, stay and pray. There we go. Now she's got like this meat sandwich.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm a dog. Yeah, come on now. All right, have a seat, Conan. It's okay. You're in the podcast now too.
So,
I guess I would just. Somebody told me once that the cupping, it like pulls toxins and stuff out. But I was like, how?
Nah.
I'm like, I don't get
yeah,
it.
when you
They
cut the
have-
blood and
they
suck
have
the
said-
blood out and do the
That is
vampire
actually
shit.
that's actually
Stop,
what you
Conan.
Oh fuck! I wouldn't.
It's
want
called
that.
wet
Stop.
cupping.
Stop!
Don't ever do wet cupping.
Lay
But they say
Lay down.
the color
Lay
of
down.
the cup, the mark,
Good boy.
is the toxins.
I just thought it was like
No,
hickey.
it's literally you just put more pressure.
Because it looks just like a
Yeah.
goddamn hickey to me, man.
Yeah, that's. I mean, that's what you're.
I was an expert at that in high
essentially
school.
what you're doing. That's essentially what you're doing. You're creating that pressure and restricting the blood flow into that area. There is such a thing. He was saying, like the wet cupping, and it's
Yeah, they, like,
they'll
make
like
little cuts
lacerate
and
the
they suck the
skin
blood out.
and then cup it, and they say it's their toxic blood that's pulling
Why
out.
would you want to do that to yourself?
People are
It's
weird.
not.
Like cut yourself and
I mean, you're cutting yourself, so clearly if you
Bloodletting,
create the pressure,
oh.
blood's gonna come out of
That's
it.
like what they used to do in the medieval days. They believed in bloodletting.
Yeah.
So if you were sick,
They put leeches on you,
they
right?
would do that, but they would also drain you.
Yeah.
So like, and they just believed this was helpful. And I
Maybe,
guess in some
maybe the
cases,
hematocrit was high. They were taking too much gear
well,
back
these are-
in the
these are
day.
people- you know, these are people who were usually
I know, I was joking.
very sick. You know,
Yeah.
they had some weird stuff though.
Some different ideas.
Very, very different. Like they didn't believe the average European took a bath
Like, oh
once
god,
a
what
month
are you talking about?
because
this
they
other day?
because they thought that it was unhealthy because people would get sick afterwards.
yeah, because it was fucking cold.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't dry off.
Yeah.
They didn't have they didn't know about germs. They didn't know about pneumonia. They didn't know about
my
like.
God.
So
Yeah,
you would just
the-
they would just get in. They would just
On like a microbiological level, nothing existed.
so they would literally just get out of the tub, put their clothes back on, and go about their time. Well, that's a good way to get sick if you're fucking living in Britain.
Yes.
It's like shitty weather there all day.
It's like 20 degrees.
It's literally cold and rainy
Yeah.
all the time. So yes, I would never want to take a bath.
It's like
Absolutely
Seattle
not.
all the time.
That's why I was telling you. That's why I was telling you that all of the nobility would have perfumes. They were the ones who bought the first perfumes. And if you notice, all the kings and queens have these orbs.
Right.
You know what's
Just
inside there?
Make sure you don't smell it.
It's because they stunk.
Oh my
They
gosh.
stunk. These
Nobody
people
would do it.
stunk because they only took a bath like every couple of weeks. Oh, some though there were a few. I think I remember reading one or two queens or kings who were just clean freaks where they just always took baths all the time. But that was rare. Yeah, really
So
strange.
interesting.
It is especially when you think about. So this is what people don't really realize, especially when you talk about today. This pandemic and everything. Is we almost got wiped out as a species. I mean, like
Right.
2/3 of the population of Europe died in like the Black Plague.
Yeah.
Like that was like we were literally this close to like blinking out of existence. So and there's probably been many of those.
Did they make you wear masks everywhere?
They didn't have those masks, but if they could, they probably would have said no. Like,
All right, so I have a question. So what do you think about, in the world of therapy, people that are not necessarily certified or have been to school getting all these chances? And I know for a fact Flex Lewis is using one right now. So how do you feel
so
the
they're
risk
not
is?
certified or they're not officially trained to do these
They're not doctors, they're not anything, they just
learned how to do it.
go.
Okay, well, that's one way to do it.
There are people that say they do body work without having any sorts of like actual schooling, I should say. They might take like a weekend course, or there's always continuing education. And I'm not discrediting the fact that they've probably taken these courses, but you have to be very, like I tell everyone, be very cautious on who you go to for body work treatment, because as much as stuff like my industry can help people, it can also really jack your stuff up.
So
if
what
you're,
what,
I mean, say you have someone scraping you, you should have like, you know how like on your chest you got like a little of that red color.
I didn't get anything.
Very mild.
Yeah, I'm not.
You'll have people that look like they were
the fuck
literally like
Beat up?
this
Oh shit.
Yeah.
all over their whole body. Like
Is that good?
that, no.
No.
Okay.
That's breaking blood vessels. Here and there, you'll get like a few. You'll get
Like,
like
you
a
don't want
few
me to
every once
scrape
in a
you.
while
I'm
when
gonna
you
fuck
start
you
doing
up.
that.
And I don't know how to. No, I'm joking.
You don't want.
I know how
massive
much you can
amounts.
do.
You
but-
want like a tiny little bit, maybe, but you're really just kind of breaking up some of that scar tissue, helping some of those fibers.
It's also like the techniques and stuff. I'm just asking. It's just becoming very prominent because I see people all the time, honestly, that are like, there's people in Tennessee, there's people in Vegas, there's people in California. They're like, oh, I do body work. Okay, cool. There's people here all the time.
Yeah.
And I know trainers are hiring people to do body work. She's a doctor of physical therapy. She works on all my clients. She went to medical school for this. There's people who literally are like, oh, cool, I know how to do this. I'm strong, I can do this. And they can do some good.
I'm pretty sure
I think, and like I could go do some body work
I'm
on
pretty
people.
sure that I could learn how to take out a person's appendix, but you don't want me fucking getting
No,
it.
exactly.
And that's like- that's
but you
the
don't
thing.
understand. And it's just like, we talk about, look, I'll compare it to this, and then you kind of do it. It's like us talking about nutrition. Sure, somebody can make a diet, but what do you do when you run into somebody with a real issue that you have
Right.
to address?
That's-
Or let's say you have a partial tear, and then you tear the muscle.
Right.
Or you're using these techniques that are just like
Questionable.
to say the least. So,
I-
because you can get some great stuff done, but I'm like, a 5-year-old could diet me and make me look good. I mean, honestly, you know what I'm saying? Or you, or Kristen, for that. Like, doesn't take much, or people like, you know, Flex or Rodin or whoever.
Oh, it's-
But to like the average person seeing this and then going, it's pretty scary. The same as like the nutritionist. I heard some people talking to the gym the other day. I'm going to go on this. They're like, oh, I'm going to go take a nutrition cert and I'm going to call myself a nutritionist. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Really?
Like, you're going to go do like, literally, it was a trainer at the gym talking about, oh, I'm going to go take, you know,
You get
I
it.
need to get my ISSA nutrition. I'm a professional
I tell
nutritionist.
people go for that stuff. Go do it, and the first 10 clients, good luck.
But with you, what did we say? It was how many hours to be considered good at something versus how many hours to be considered.
Well, there's-
10,000 hours?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
10,000 hours, yeah.
They say 10,000 is about what creates mastery. So
Right.
you want someone, most people want somebody, I don't want somebody who's competent.
No.
I want somebody who's mastered this, who has put in at least a decade of research, of study, of experience, so that I know that my body, because I know how much work I put in on myself.
Sorry, Kristen's young.
No.
But no, I didn't mean that way. But
it matters.
yeah.
Like schooling matters. All this
Yes.
stuff matters. And of course, also you've been doing it already. It'd be one
I'm
thing.
kind of asking your take as somebody that's licensed. I know my take on people like that say I'm going to go take a weekend course and start writing nutrition plans. I'd be like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, I'll call you out on it.
My
You have
take
no
is-
business doing it.
My take is good luck.
Yeah, but what happens?
I know they're gonna-
but what
I know that
happens when you
happens.
mess somebody up and then we
Yeah,
got to
you feel
go
bad
in
for the
and
client
fix it?
that you have to take over.
It's just like,
and it
what
gets-
if you went to so and so muscle magic person and you had a partial tear in your lat and they tore your lat off? I'm fucking and I found
definitely
out
has
later on
happened.
that they didn't know what they were doing.
Well, hopefully not. The thing is that I think a lot of people misrepresent.
Right.
Yes.
That's the part I don't like. So, like, it's one thing to say, hey, you know what? I learned how to do this. I wasn't trained in a school for this, but I learned how to do this, and I've been doing it for 5 years. I have a successful track record.
Right.
You can call some of my clients. That's what I would expect from somebody like that.
Yes.
Right.
When you mess with somebody's body.
100%. Couldn't agree more. I think it's the lack of communication of where your actual skill set or knowledge is on the topic.
I mean, that's so correct. I think it's really important. I've always been super honest about my skill set. I just today at 51 almost, I'm pretty much the best you're going to probably find out there at what I do. But the problem is that most people don't want to admit where they're really at. When I wasn't here, I didn't admit that. I was saying, hey, this is where I'm at. This is what I can do.
Right, for sure.
And every year that's gone by, I've been able to extend myself a little more. And then of course, you build this. And I think the same thing probably in this field as well.
And absolutely. I mean, there are definitely times I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I will figure it out.
Right.
I will work on it.
Right.
And I'm totally honest with any patient that comes. Like, if I don't know it, I'm not going to tell you some
bullshit
BS answer that like doesn't even make sense.
up some shit.
You go
Well,
talk
it's
to
just like
someone
the
else and you're
BFR
like, that's
stuff.
not what it was.
Like when she uses BFR, it's like BFR, not tie tourniquet to your leg and let's go do some reps and
Which
see what
actually can be
happens.
really dangerous.
Yeah.
You're talking about, but
I'm just saying, like, as an example of the difference, like, even trainers, but there's people out there that do BFR, like blood flow restriction. Like, we talked about it that one night.
including training.
And you put, like, a cuff on, and I'm like, hey, wrap down mine to the 8. Let's go for it. But when she does it,
We
yeah,
use,
but you
like,
can
a
explain it.
specific system. Like we have an actual unit that tracks your blood pressure the entire time throughout the entire motion. Includes 50% on the arms, 80% on the legs, and it monitors it the entire time.
So it's like you can't kill nervous endings.
Because people putting on a cuff and just like cinching it up.
So this is still off topic. Not really, but there's this inclusion.
bad.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this new erectile device? This new,
I knew you were going there.
I'm not
It's called a
shitting.
cock ring.
It's
It's
like-
been around for like
Yes,
years.
but no, this is new and improved. It looks like a fucking horseshoe because it doesn't include the base at the bottom, so it doesn't restrict. It won't restrict. The blood can still
Go in and out. Yeah.
It
kind of, and also it doesn't
limits so much.
It doesn't allow, like, the urethra doesn't get clamped down. So, like, it's supposed to be awesome. I just happened to see this on some fucking thing, and I'm like,
we're gonna leave that
On
alone.
this.
On a thing, I saw an ad for a cock ring.
no, and I was like, well, they were showing these studies and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? You study this shit? Like, fucking. Okay.
Now I know why you're late to the gym every day.
Actually, that's one of the reasons why. Did I tell you about this? Why I was chronically late?
You're supposed to. Could you eat the rolled gummies?
No, because my kitchen clock is 10 minutes off.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go change that shit next time and not tell you and put it way far forward. Did you figure it out last night? Hey, do you know we went to Pacific time today?
We did not here in Arizona.
Yes,
We don't change.
We don't change.
Never.
Yeah, we went to Pacific time.
Pacific time came to us. We all matched up. We don't change.
Same difference. We're on Pacific time
Now we are, yes.
Okay,
But our time didn't change.
yeah,
we don't fall
but
back.
like, but we're using Pacific time now. Okay.
We're using our time. They're using our time.
Fine. Okay. Okay. Fine.
But it is classified.
Whatever, because we're on the Pacific.
But you're
Ocean,
correct. They
right?
call it Pacific
Yeah.
time. Yes, you're correct.
I was like, what? Chase told me this morning. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, just use Pacific time now. I was like, oh, okay, got it.
It is weird. There's only like 4 or 5 states that don't do daylight savings.
No, there's one.
No, there's Arizona, Hawaii, Maine.
Oh,
I think it's somewhere up there on the west, on the east coast.
East Coast.
Yes, Maine or something. Yeah, there's a
Maybe.
couple. There's like 4 states that don't do this.
Alaska.
Alaska, I think, is probably one of them because they have weird shit. Like there's some
24-hour days.
Yeah,
24-hour
There's
nights.
no change.
28 days of night.
There was that one movie. That was
28 days a night. That's what I just
was like,
said.
Oh, I didn't even. I thought that was.
Of
pretty-
course, we go to a movie. That was a really good movie.
That was a
It's a
good movie.
vampire movie.
Of course I haven't seen it.
Yeah. It's a vampire
Oh yeah,
movie.
it's like, and then when it all turns dark, all those fucking vampires start coming out and shit. Like,
Yeah.
did you?
Because it's 28 days. You can't get away from
Can't
it.
get away from
Nope.
it.
Yeah.
Did you see The Thing? It's one of my favorite movies.
Thing?
It's called The Thing. It's
Like
John Carpenter.
1990, 85.
81,
Yeah.
82. It's got-
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, it's fucking. That's one of the best.
It's so old, though.
So
With Thinner. Thinner was good.
that was good too. That's even.
I watched Iron
Think
Eagle
about
the
it.
other night.
Okay, that
I love Iron Eagle. Don't you dare hate that. That's like a kid 80s movie. I was a kid in the 80s, okay?
I get it.
You were like
Teddy's
30.
obsessed.
No, I wasn't. I was in high school. 80s. I graduated in
Yeah,
1988.
fair. That's right.
I was like,
I was 3.
I was like, some of the movies that I grew up with that really mean something to me are things like Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Yeah, I love that movie.
That's a fucking awesome movie. Like, all those movies from what's his name? Those coming of age movies, like Pretty in Pink and
What is it? Breakfast Club?
Breakfast Club.
Yeah,
that's
those
a great
are good.
movie.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
So like all those kind of things I liked.
She's like, I
I've seen
watched
those
it
ones.
on like the AMC channel, you know, where they play the old movies for old people.
They're good movies, man. These are good movies. But you really listen, like
She goes, why are you watching all these old movies? I'm like, it's fucking Legends of the Fall. It's from the 90s. Yeah, all these fucking old movies. I wasn't even born yet.
oh, you're born.
92.
Oh, 92. Oh, okay. Jesus, I guess that's well. Let's suppose a good movie. Just a good movie, man. That one and
Meet Joe Black.
Meet Joe Black. You're right there with it. You said it last time. Remember, we were talking. They didn't get to hear because that sound.
Young Guns?
No. I said, and I was saying, oh, this other movie, and you named it right away. We were right.
I don't know. It was Legends of the Fall and
We were talking about soundtracks. And I said,
Last of the Mohicans.
Last of the Mohicans,
yeah. We were talking about soundtrack. That's completely different. That's
those are some movies I really
He
like.
posed to the one I want to use
Yeah.
already as a posing routine.
it.
Yeah.
In the 90s, I think. Yeah.
He's talked about that for so long.
Oh, it's great fucking music. It's awesome. It's like
I watched it. I did it on. Oh my god! I watched.
I also
it the other
posed
day.
to the soundtrack of Batman, the original Batman movie. For,
Oh yeah.
that was
That
good.
would be awesome.
Yeah, with
The original, like 1964, or
no,
Michael
no, no,
Keaton.
no,
Okay.
No. The one with
Yeah,
with,
Michael Keaton.
Was it
And
Michael
Jack
Keaton?
Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, Michael Keaton.
With the beginning scene where they fucking pan through the big stone.
Yeah. It's
so
awesome.
Batman-
It was Tim Burton.
exactly and
Unbeatable.
I remember going to the movies and seeing this.
She's like, what? You've never seen it.
I remember
The
going-
Batman to her is Christian Bale. That's how you know people's age. Who's Batman to you? Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
Yeah, Michael Keaton. She's
But
like,
I'll tell you who I like the best. You're probably gonna fucking go
if you say Val Kilmer,
No,
I'm
he was
walking
worse.
out.
He was
Okay,
worse.
we're done. I'm done. We can't even be friends anymore.
No,
Ben Affleck was
I like-
awesome.
I like Ben Affleck. He's my
Awesome.
favorite.
But if you say who's Batman, it's Michael Keaton. To me,
To me.
it's like who's the Joker, Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Even though Heath Ledger was amazing,
He's just so good.
everybody's like, but Jack Nicholson's the Joker. Michael
Nicholson's
Keaton's
him.
Batman.
I'm sorry, he's the
He's
Joker.
the greatest.
He just matched the character really well. Although I
Yeah.
did like what's his name, the guy.
Heath Ledger.
No.
No.
The guy he plays in that band. You like?
Yeah, 30 Seconds to Mars.
Yeah.
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. That's
Yeah.
right. I like Jared Leto. He did a really good job.
Yeah, he was in that movie, Pretty Little Things. The new one with
Yes,
Denzel Washington,
yes, that's
and he was
good.
fucked up. God, that guy was so fucked up in the movie.
seen that movie.
Yeah, with the
It's good.
barrettes.
It's good.
Remember, Denzel Washington
the-
has the beret at the end?
Oh, yes,
Just
yes,
ruined the
yes.
movie for everybody. Sorry.
No, it's a great movie.
Yeah,
Great
you should
movie.
watch it anyway.
I was like, maybe I'll watch this. Start watching it. I'm like, fucking glued to it.
yeah, so good.
And he plays this fucking weird wacko character.
He's like for real
I'm like,
whacked
dude.
out.
That one and what was it?
With
Another-
him?
No.
I was like Requiem for a Dream.
Another Christian Bale movie. One of his breakout. Actually, I think it was one of his. really
American
breakout-
Psycho?
Yeah.
That movie is so good.
I've seen that.
Yeah, he's like having sex and he's like looking at
Yeah.
him, flexing in the mirror.
I'm like, okay, I did that.
Like Tad's doing that.
Yeah, shit, I didn't quite understand the psychology of it. Like, what would drive someone to be like that? Like,
He was a psychopath.
I know he was like
he was just a
'cause I
psychopath. He
wish
had
they would
no.
have got into the history of like what made him like, because something always happens
Yeah,
when you're young.
you have to.
There's
Well,
like,
it's like a
triggers it.
chemical misfire too.
Can be.
Yeah,
I know a few people like that.
like
Or
all
you learn
serial
something,
killers
yeah.
are white, right? White males.
Or, well, there's just we all have traumas in our life. So like there's
Yes.
and so we build these messages about who we are and about life,
Yeah.
and they're almost always from 0 to 6 or 7, and that's because during that age where our brains are almost entirely
Right.
in theta, and that's a state, a brainwave state where your body's creating
Absorbing
meaning and
everything,
absorbing
yeah.
everything. And the problem is that when you create meaning around relationships, around love, around your own sense of worthiness, around all these things that are incorrect, that it's hard to, when you
Break
live a
them
life,
later,
it's
yeah,
hard
you
to
have to
change
fuck
them
it
later on. You have to really do a lot of internal work. And in this culture, we are experts at running away from our feelings.
Oh,
yeah.
Fucking
Oh, yeah,
experts. Like we run towards the good ones, but we just totally fucking ignore the bad ones. And so because we don't face that stuff, or at least not everyone, but because in general people don't like to face those things, they never find out what those feelings are really trying to
Right.
tell them. Because all of our feelings are supposed to be telling us something. They're not just there.
Yeah.
That's the way our bodies remember history.
Right.
So like you are consciously we can remember our histories, but your body physically remembers through how it feels. And so it's incredibly important for us to like pay attention to that stuff.
Right.
And work with it our whole lives. Because we all got traumas, we all got fucked up
Oh,
shit
yeah,
about
for
ourselves.
sure.
Everybody does.
Everyone.
Nobody's exempt from this. You know, like so for me, at least in my life, it's really, really important. So I don't want to face all that stuff.
Yeah.
I was married to a woman who was an expert at fucking wanting to run away from that shit.
We
never wanted to talk about her feelings. And what it creates is, at least for her, was a lot of resentment because she didn't understand why she would feel this way because she never went deep enough. She never actually asked those questions, ever in her life. Yeah. So when she actually faced real shit in her life, and then she would just bury those feelings, and of course you can't bury feelings for very long. That's trapped energy in the body. Emotions are trapped as energy in motion. So if you don't let that energy flow through you, so it's actually a good idea to, when you get upset, fuck, to say fuck, or to like express that. You don't want to express it at somebody, but you want to express it. Yeah. Get it out. Love is the same way. Everything is the same way. Pain is the same way. They actually did some studies of people who use profanity. They tend to have more joy in their life. Yeah. Because they can get that shit out right away. Like, fuck. And I do. I'm like, my daughter's so cute. She's like 11, and she asked me just like a couple weeks ago, Daddy, is it okay? Is it going to be okay if I curse around you?
You're like, oh, baby.
I said, sweetheart, you hear the way I speak. I fucking speak this shit all the time. I said, I don't care how you speak. As long as don't curse at me, please.
Yeah.
I said, but I just care about what you're trying to get across.
Right.
I said, you won't be in trouble for it.
Right.
Like, I know you're going to do this. We all do it. I haven't met a single person yet that didn't fucking cuss, goddammit.
Yeah. Marissa, never heard. I'm like, you say a cuss word, please, just to make me feel better. I've dropped 5 F-bombs.
I think my first wife never heard her curse. Even to this day, I've never heard her curse. Shauna. Wow. But she's just like, that's the way she is.
My mom's like, shoot. I'm
like, you mean shit?
I'm like, say something, please. One time.
I think, I just think it's vernacular.
Yeah.
It's just vernacular. What it really matters is your intent.
Right.
If you're saying fuck you and you mean something bad to me by then I kind of am offended.
Yeah.
But if you just say fuck you, it's like
it's joking. It's just like how we talk to each other in the gym every day.
Exactly. It's just
like I don't really mean you're an old man. I just like to egg you on.
I feel like it sometimes, especially when I'm training with you. You're fucking strong, man. Shit. I'm like fuck. I've never actually trained with somebody who's actually that much stronger than me sometimes. Sometimes, but
you're both freakishly strong.
Yeah, you're certain.
I
never trained with anybody that can keep up with me on shoulders.
Oh, ever. Yeah. I've never trained with anybody that can keep with me on shoulders. So good.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Actually, we had an awesome chest workout today.
We had a really good chest
workout. I was messaging Chris. That's funny because you both got worked on yesterday.
And I'm like, oh.
I thought it was the workout structure, but
it was
that
both.
helped too.
It was both. I could just feel the difference in the firing.
Thank you, Hunter.
Oh yeah. We got some new techniques that
Hunter gave us a incline press.
Where did you find that from?
He made it. He just played with a bunch of different movements
and put it together. You both said it. What is it?
It's a full ration press, and then you do a partial static press to finish.
So, but you have to rest the weight.
Yeah, so static press. Yeah.
So you press, rest, press, rest.
Hunter Rainey came up with that one. I've never seen that combo that way. And he showed it to me last week, and I was like, fuck, my chest is wrecked, and I don't want to tell him that he did a good job, but he did such a good job.
So the reason why this is so effective to fatiguing the chest, because you fatigue fast. I was like, wow.
Done. I mean, we fatigued at you topped out at 225, and we can both hit 315 for...
Yeah. So I think the reason why is because when you rest,
tricep territory should be 405. Full disclosure, it should be 405.
When you do these full reps, and then we do these like they're really like 3/4 reps, but we're resting. You rest the bar on the rack.
It's a full static press.
Yeah. So when you have to start again
from the bottom
with zero momentum, it's like a lot. That's really energetically.
People don't understand that with physics, when you bring the weight down, you're still creating inertia to push it back away, and they're like, "Oh no, the weight's moving down." I'm like, "That's what I'm like, why the fuck you think you're bouncing off your chest?"
Right.
It creates a reverse momentum.
The only one. So I get a little fast.
Well, you can use the googly apparatus too and turn it off because that's the rebound in the pec, where you have to hit the bottom because it'll turn your pec off from firing to keep from tearing. Oh. But we figured out how to override that. I'll show you that trick one day.
Oh shit! Now we were supposed to pecs.
Yeah, googly tendons. Yeah. You can turn it off if you partial press.
Oh yeah.
And burn out at the bottom instead of the top.
I naturally do.
It's literally there to help protect yourself. And
but you can't go to complete failure.
So what is this again? So explain to everybody just so that they're not coming in sideways.
Go. So there's a tendon in your chest that basically Golgi tendon that will shut down your pec from firing
As a protective mechanism.
As a protective
It's a
mechanism.
stretch.
It's a stretch.
Receptor.
So basically, if you go into a partial at the bottom and then use the bounce technique to do it, the muscle's still contracting. So you can go past failure to go to full fatigue to push more.
And we do that a lot.
Yeah, all the time on everything.
The
I love
first
it.
day he put me through a calf workout doing it. I couldn't walk for like a solid 2 weeks. Like, I'm not even kidding. I was like tippy-toe.
Well, I thought I was afraid that it compartmentalized, and we were like gonna have to go to the hospital.
It was
shit.
so.
It was so swollen.
It was so.
The
but, like,
pump
in
wouldn't go
such a
away.
good, like such a good way.
But still, I was
But
like,
it was-
but in my
it
mind,
was
I'm like,
insane.
oh shit.
He's like, we didn't too far on her.
I was like, I actually went too far for once.
How would you do, like, for 10 sets or something? What did you do?
No, you just override, and then when you get on the bottom, I push it down, and your muscle naturally rebounds,
the stretch, yeah.
so it keeps firing. But your body's turned
right,
off
And
of
you
it,
kept- literally
so
just
I'm
kept
forcing
pulling
momentum
plates.
to go and pulling plates, and then
Every
you
time,
force
and then
the
you
fire.
just keep going, and then you pull plates and you get down. I was like, Peter, can you please stop? When is this
It's
over?
nasty.
Wow.
Oh my
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. I loved all that stuff. Like, stuff like that. Like, I like just exhausting.
Well, you
like,
just feel, well, it takes so much, though, to actually fatigue. People don't understand, like,
I know.
how much when you have more muscle. I mean, you're not a small guy either. Like, it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. You got to
Like,
burn that
a
shit
lot
out, man.
to actually
the-
fatigue the muscle. Well, that's the thing about training
Or
legs.
on
People
people in
like
general.
stop when it starts hurting. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you got like 20 more reps before you're actually fatigued.
I think that was my
It just hurts.
biggest thing I learned when I started training with you.
Yeah, like where actual failure
I would
was.
just like, 20 reps, okay.
And then she
We
moved
hit
to
20
another
and then we're
exercise
done.
and do 20 reps
And
and,
then
do
go
20
for,
reps.
like,
And
2
I'd be like,
hours.
here's one exercise, and then actually make her fail, and then be like, oh, minute's up, let's do it again. Oh, wait, no, you got to wait a minute, let's do it again. And all of a sudden her legs grew. Who would have thought?
Well, she had a very different
Yeah.
training style, which is
Dude, it was straight circles.
yeah.
It was like Orange Theory.
It was definitely
She was an
endurance.
instructor at
I was
Orange Theory.
a long distance runner.
She
14
hated it.
miles
She's
a
like,
day
well,
was
what I
the
do,
minimum
what I do in
rate.
the rest of the time. I have another girl that's
That's
like
why
that,
you wanna move
and
so
she wants to
fast.
fucking
Always.
do everything. And I'm like, slow down. Your legs are this big because you won't slow down and do it. Well, I need to do another hour workout. And I'm like, you've done an hour and 15 minutes of legs. Can barely walk. Well, yeah, but it hasn't been 2 hours yet. I can do hamstrings
better.
now.
I've gotten
And I'm
better.
like, not her. I'm talking about somebody else.
Well, I think I know for me, it's always been highly addicting
Yeah,
to
I
to
just
be
wanna
to,
You
to
wanna train a long
pace
time,
myself,
too.
to pace myself fast.
I'm
That's
like, 50 minutes, I'm done. Fuck this.
no. But I want to stay in the gym for 2 hours.
I know you do. Trust me. I know. We talk about it. I'm like,
I want to be in a 2 hour. I want to train.
yeah, but
Train,
see,
train,
I
train,
then I start
train,
thinking about it
Me too.
nutritionally, and I'm like, okay, we're outside the anabolic window. Time to feed. Let's go. I do. I'm like, all right, workout's wasted. It's been an hour and
That's what
15
he
minutes.
says. I'm like,
we
well,
got
you
20
keep
more minutes to
going.
get food in, or I just wasted my time.
I did.
But I mean,
See, this is
like
what I was talking
for like optimal to spike insulin, get everything delivered, like hour and 20
there's
minutes.
a-
But if we train as hard as we can, like how we
Remember,
go.
you change that window. Just remember, you change the window when you have the intro drinks. So
Yeah,
everything
fair.
changes.
Because you
So
rush blood
extend-
sugar, you
you
extend
extend
it.
this out. So now you can train longer. You still probably don't. I mean, 2 hours is a long time.
I like to keep mine like hour and 20 minutes. It's like the perfect
Yeah.
time for me.
Yeah, my instincts always tell me like, oh, an hour.
Yeah, but
40.
when we go, but think about this: when we hit it hard, like today, we went like an hour and 15. It was perfect,
I did. I can't
and we
remember.
bullshitted for 20 minutes because Sean was with us.
Yeah, it took a little longer. But it wasn't that bad.
Right,
It wasn't
right.
that bad. It wasn't that, because we were going heavy on in the beginning.
Yeah,
So, but I just like getting a lot of volume of
Me
work
too.
in. I don't have to be fast paced, but I just like the volume. And it's because I want to feel blood in my friggin' body. I want to feel weight on my bones. I want to, like,
you just wait for quads.
Yeah, I
you're
know,
ready to
fine. I
go.
know.
That's, I will say,
I'm getting these motherfuckers ready because I'm trying to make sure they're healthy. Because I was just pulling stuff left and right the last couple months.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck.
Well, you got to be healthy. That's the most important
yeah,
thing.
100%.
But the TB500
Yeah.
really has helped. But I
That's what
think
we're gonna start carrying.
Yes, we're gonna start carrying that pretty soon. We're gonna cover the line of a couple things.
Yeah.
So probably the TB, IGF-1,
And
BPC. What
I thought we were gonna do CJC.
You can, yeah, absolutely.
Maybe doing that.
Yeah. And there's some other.
Kristen's like, what the fuck
What?
is this? This is
I
not her
hear
world.
this.
I love-
Nothing. It's research peptides.
Yeah. So those are the peptides.
You know what IGF-1 is?
I know GF1, I know BP,
BBC?
BBC.
Yeah.
Oh, so by the way, so TB and BPC were originally like that's Pfizer and Merck, I think, who researched
That
those
whole
drugs.
study.
It's
Yeah, I know
Pfizer,
that whole
wasn't it?
study. on that.
Well, they're done by different companies,
Yeah.
but I know that originally BBC was originally studied for wound repair. So like people burn victims and open heart surgery, people with invasive surgeries to accelerate wound healing without giving them steroids or any kinds of anabolics, and it worked way better. So it's like, but there was some issues in the studies with tumor development. They thought there was some hint that there could be some issues with people with certain kinds of cancer, colon cancers and stuff. So they just said, I'm just gonna dump it. So they just stopped studying it, but it works. It works really, really well. So ironically, something that I learned recently, it works completely different when it's in an oral format.
Yeah,
So
what's the way that it's absorbed, right?
Well, it's more than that. It actually has a completely different action on the body. So
because it's in the intestines?
Correct, and it reacts directly with the intestines. So it helps with digestion, it helps with your friendly flora, it helps with your inflammation in the gut. Like really, so like I was one, but it's like 3-4 times the price.
Wow.
Oh, we were talking about this the other day.
Yes.
Saturday, right? I think.
Yeah, I never understood why. So I might just carry the oral. We might just carry the oral format too, because the good doctor at the gym, what's his name?
Great.
Which ones?
Yeah. So he said he puts all his patients on because it's just so wonderful for digestion. For your gut. And most people walk around with some kind of inflammation.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's where you want to get it down, because if your gut is inflamed,
distension.
Well,
mine's horrible.
It's pretty hard nowadays with the food.
But I mean,
to not have inflammation.
When you eat 1,000 grams of carbs a day.
Well,
I finally got yours over mine though.
Get the candy in there.
Candy. I'm like on diet. 150 grams carbs from candy throughout the day.
If I don't,
He said he loves the Nutella sandwich though.
Yeah. Well, if I don't eat this, I literally can't eat the volume of food.
Yeah.
I just can't get it. I get
I'm just
gagged.
jealous about the candy, that's all.
Well,
She's like, where's my fucking candy?
well, come to think of it, you're prepping for the New York Pro.
I am.
So we're 9.5 weeks out, something like that.
Uh-huh.
So how you feeling?
Right now I'm feeling pretty good.
Do you know who's going to be there? Have you guys looked at? I haven't looked at the list.
Everyone.
Of course.
It'll be
the New York Pro.
a little bit dependent, I'm sure, on like,
who wins
Pro,
in Pittsburgh too. You know,
I doubt they're going to come straight back to the New York Pro.
Because I mean, only top two qualify, but it's kind of fucked up the first year if you go ahead and qualify to go in and try to win the next show, right?
Well, they're going to probably want to
because you're just eating up more.
So the New York
Yar
Pro
Sheen is going to be there.
Pittsburgh's
the reason why, I'm going to tell you the reason. The reason why they're going to, I said that why a winner would do both is because they want to do the New York Pro.
Yeah.
Because, it's Steve's show.
Yeah.
And Steve's going to judge them at the Olympia, and that's kind of, and they want him to see it. And if he does, and of course, anybody who has a show wants their people who win to win the Olympics.
But what I'm going to say to this is, and we're talking specifically about wellness, and we touched it before. It's so fake, man. I hate it.
What do you mean?
These girls
don't hate it.
I mean, I hate how fake it's getting. Like I'm looking at these girls and I'm like,
well, the judge.
This isn't real. But the girl that's going to win gets butt injections, all of it. I mean, rumored ab plate, like it's just not. It doesn't look right.
What do they do their abs?
They're putting like ab plates in Brazil and stuff, man.
So they can have they don't. That's fucked up.
But they're also literally injecting ass, like suctioning, liposuction, all of it. Like this is bodybuilding, not body faking. Well, yeah. I'll call it. Like I don't give a fuck.
Well, if I see, as a judge, if I see weird stuff like that, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't judge it.
I mean, some of the top wellness girls that you follow, I'm like, even their faces look plastic at this point.
They do their faces on.
I know, but I mean, I'm saying like everywhere, like head to toe, it's just getting
It's my impression. I'm not trying to generalize over the Brazilian crowd, but it's my impression that in South America, especially specifically Brazil, this stuff is just commonplace.
No, I know, but I mean, but you're carrying into, so is that going to be the normalcy for the wellness? You're an IFBB judge. I mean, that's what I'm asking. Which, by the way, let me touch on this really quick. How long has wellness been part of the IFBB and MPC?
Only a couple of years.
Right.
2 years.
This is the second year, correct? Thank you. Just want to say that
in the IFBB Pro League, yes, but in other organizations,
but not NPC and IFBB. Right. Thank you.
And they're not the same quality of chicks. I'm sorry, the stuff here is way more competitive. I don't care fuck what these people say. I've seen those other people, and they're not nearly as competitive.
Dragon Pharma, look out who's representing you because they're fucking full of shit. I'll touch on that later on. We'll put a picture up on the green screen.
And quite frankly, like the IFBB Elite, which is the other, was a part of the IFBB.
Right.
And then we broke apart a couple of years ago because, well, there's many reasons, but it's the big complaint for that organization. This is what I tell people: I don't recommend competing at another organization, not just because I'm an IFBB Pro judge, but I don't recommend because people buy their pro cards there. You can't buy your pro card in this organization. I don't care what anybody says about politics. It doesn't work that way. I've been on
100% there's some politics, but it's not. You can't go pay $50K and get
I'll tell you what the politics are. It's called personal preference.
Right. Absolutely.
It's not anything more than that.
Yeah.
Now, I can't speak at any other, like the Olympia. I'm not in those conversations if there are any, but I don't believe there are because I've never been. No one's ever come to me and said, "Hey, Ted, we need this person to place better."
Right.
No one's ever said, "Hey," I have had people, I've had head judges say, "Hey, this score on this individual doesn't match up with everybody else. Do you want to keep that?"
Right.
I'm like, and I was like, "Oh, because sometimes we make mistakes." So like,
100%.
But I'm like, I looked at it. I'm like, "Nope."
Yeah.
That's what it's gonna be. I was like, okay, and then it was accepted. So I don't. But in that organization, no shit is bombed.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
It was $50,000. Last I heard a couple years ago, it was $50,000 to get a pro card. You can just go and you can just buy it. Now, they don't make this wide. They don't make this wide known, but absolutely you can. Absolutely. And they denied professional status to people because certain countries had something to do with so certain countries they give stipends to these athletes to be able to compete in these international organizations, right? But only as amateurs.
So I love the IFBB and I love the NPC and I know there's a lot of people. I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
How can a guy compete at the Universe last year and turn pro when he hadn't done a show previously to qualify? How did the winner, and I like the guy and he looks great, whatever.
Who is he?
It's Column, whatever. And I'm asking as I've had a lot of people ask me this question, so it's hard for me to justify when he didn't, but not in a qualification year. So why didn't he have to qualify?
They may have given because it's up to the promoter of the shows.
Right.
These pro qualifiers.
No, okay. I'm asking to answer the question because a lot of people say, "Oh, well, how did you go do this show? You didn't qualify." Or how did he do this?
Let's say I have an athlete who I think is good.
Because people say social media politics. I'm not asking. I'm answering as a person.
So let's pick any of the pro qualifiers: USA Championships, North Americans, Masters, you name it, any of them. They're run by promoters. These promoters have a certain degree of discretion. So they have rules to say, hey, look, we want, because if the quality of that show goes down, then Jim's going to go, hey man, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we talked about that recently.
Right. But it behooves the promoters to really, really have good quality. And the only way they can ensure that is if competitors compete and they do well, and then all this. But I have been on the good end of the stick where I come up to like John Lindsay, for instance, and say, hey man, I got these three ladies, they're fucking really 100%. Good. I believe in them, and I know they're good enough to be up there. And he'll say, okay, you can have them because they've never competed before.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, so
I was asking just kind of because people are like, oh, well, this person didn't qualify. Why do I have to qualify? Well, because you're not that person.
Well, you're not that person. I mean, like if you're really, 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 really good, trust me.
Yeah, they're not going to tell you.
You're not going to be turned away.
Right.
But you got to be that good.
Yeah. Right.
You can't just be somebody who wants.
I was playing devil's advocate in the fact that people are like, oh, it's corrupt, or they play favorite. So I'm like, no, it's not favorite. It's about cool. He's got 10 million Instagram followers, but he also won the overall at Excalibur.
I would say it this way. Yeah, you're right. They do play favorites. The favorites are the people that fucking look good.
Right. or I will say this though too, and I've experienced it. If I knew a judge and I had somebody in, I can't guarantee you win, but I can guarantee you get a look before somebody that's a known it. Like if you're judging a show and I'm like, hey, I got this girl and take a good look at her. Absolutely. You're going to look at her because you know each other. Whereas if somebody just walked on stage that you've never seen before, you're not going to look. I mean, that's just human error. Whether it's fair or not, it's true.
And there is a certain degree of truth for people who are very visible on social media and who look good. That yes, absolutely, it impacts the judging standards. Yeah. Because people are
they know who you are. If you walk up on stage and you know who they are. To me, though, I'm like, I walk on stage and then I'm going to be super critical. I'm going to be like, it's not what the fuck you look like on Instagram.
Right. Well, that's the
you
danger,
moved a second. Well, I saw it at Universe. There was an argument on the judging panel about somebody where you could tell they judged a class for a while and it was a social media person. And some of them were saying, this girl's better. And it was a little back and forth.
I will say this, I felt that happened, and I hope she doesn't hear this because I don't want her to think I think she sucks. But I think I always thought that happened with Daylin Bailey because she was not good. 100%. She was not that good.
But they made the class for her, and then this is what Okay, this is what I'll say about
Which
this.
is why
So they
it's
kind of made the class for.
Yes.
Well, it's just like they made the class for Yarashina.
Right.
Like Yarashina's
Well, the same thing
like
happened
I'll say
to-
right now,
same
doesn't
thing-
matter if somebody's way better than her. She's gonna win the Olympia this
Same
year.
thing happened to Mark Anthony.
Like, they
he
made
was
it-
good when he won,
Yeah.
but he's not the standard. Like he's just not good enough to beat someone like Jeremy
Right.
Bonilla or
No.
anybody else.
But it happens every year. They introduce a class because they have like a figure who. Oh, this is the face.
But I
this
will
is the,
say this: when it came to classic, no,
You're doing
see that shit fell like that. Fuck. And I put it,
So it's gonna bother you. You're gonna talk about it.
when it came to classic, Denny Hester, I felt was a really, really great men's classic guy. He was just so short.
Yeah.
Because he's
Right.
like a keeper elf. He's like,
But I mean, now it's Bumstead,
right.
and then it's gonna be Terrence.
I mean, I wouldn't see him beating.
Breon's done. Hey, remember that argument we had going in the Olympia that Breon was better than Bumstead?
I said I liked I said I liked him.
And I said he's a 212 guy.
But it is because
It wasn't an argument.
No.
Our arguments are this. Yeah.
But I prefer bodybuilding-esque.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
yeah.
Yeah,
That's just
I know we talk about it every day. I'm like, I don't want to do this. He's like, but what if you do this and make it look like?
well, you know, part of it was that I saw Chris come into these shows. Chris Bumstead
Yeah.
come into these shows the last couple years in a row. Not this year, but the
Right.
last 2 years prior.
And he wasn't there.
And he wasn't there, and everyone's like, "Oh, Chris Bumstead." I'm like, "Why does
They were
everybody
about
fucking like this guy?"
Oh, last year versus this year, different person.
Yeah.
This last
Different
year.
person.
But that was what I was responding
But
to.
Terrence.
Dude, he was good.
God, he was good.
He was good, man.
He was good. I was like, man, if Terrence, if you were as tall as Bumstead, you'd have won that. But
He's
he's
good.
just
He's-
so big.
he's like,
he just looks so big. It's like me standing next to you. It doesn't matter. I just look
So like
bigger,
in
so
the car,
much
in the
bigger.
car world,
Yeah.
he's like the M5.
Yeah.
Right, like it's a sleeper looking car, but it's fucking a bullet.
And then you look at him, but you're like, and then he starts posing, and you're just like, oh shit,
Yeah.
he's on.
yeah. Oh,
That's one thing I
Really
will
like
say about
really good
Bumstead. I
posing.
wish Bumstead's posing was a little better for Classic. It's good, but it's not.
So I want to know, why is he so timid and shy?
I don't know. He just is. Let's get him on and ask him.
He's so timid and shy. He doesn't like. I'm talking to him backstage, like not this year but last year, and I was like, he wanted
Because he felt like everybody was against him. That's why I like him. Because everybody said he wasn't that good. And then they're like, oh, it's
Oh,
a
he's
fluke.
good. He's
and then it's
absolutely
like, oh, it was a fluky one. He never should have been Breon. Then he came back this year and he was like, shut the fuck up. That's why I like him. Like, he didn't even, he just
No,
walked,
I mean,
when he walked on stage, I was
Everyone was
like,
like,
oh, I knew.
I was like, oh,
I-
fuck. Like,
So, like, last
who
year-
is this guy? That's not even, and he was one of my favorite competitors.
I remember not this last year, but the year before at the Olympia, I didn't have him winning.
Yeah.
I had him barely been losing
Right.
out. But this year I was like, no.
Yeah,
Hands
done.
down. I was like, hands down.
Yeah.
Easy.
And then
easy.
it was Terrence, but it was like, but it's the size difference. It's just so hard to put that aesthetic
I mean,
on that big a frame. But I do wish his posing was a little better.
Right.
Just a little bit. A little more flow.
Yeah, but I'm still. So what? Were you doing time with this that he has like a lisp or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he embarrassed about this?
I don't know. We'll ask him.
He's fully embracing
We have to.
it right
We'll,
now.
we'll get him on. We have
He's
to.
fully embraced it, man.
Yeah.
It did good for
No,
Mike
he's
Tyson.
embracing it now because he has his shirts
The
that
whole
say
thing is-
Thavage.
Savage. Oh,
Savage,
he's
yeah.
not bad of a list.
No, like, yeah.
No wonder he didn't say shit to me, but because I'm like talking.
But he's
to him.
just very soft spoken, isn't he?
Okay.
He's just super soft spoken. When he was in,
I mean, he was
when
a
he was
nice
in
guy.
Nashville, I mean, and we were at Carbon's opening, Carbon Culture, Courage Gym.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, okay, yeah.
He was just like, he would talk, but it took like a few minutes to like get him to like start conversating.
You know,
I think he's just hang out.
You know who
he
else?
fucking trains alone most of the time.
You know how else was really kind of weird like this? It was Dallas McCarver. So he was.
McCarver talked to me all the time.
No,
Being
but he was.
friends with him.
But I
he was
knew him
very,
since he was
yeah,
like
he-
a
but
fucking
he was-
fat football player.
He used to like my ex-girlfriend. So he was.
He
always
liked
trying-
everybody's.
He was. He didn't like me because
Alessandra.
I don't think he liked me that much because he was like. I mean, we were friends, but I didn't think he liked me that much because she chose me over him. But she said, "Oh yeah, he tells me all these stories." I'm like what? It's like, well, like he has to smoke weed just to get out there and fucking interact with people because he had such high anxiety.
He was like super country, tiny little town, huge fat offensive tackle.
Right,
Like he was a
big
fucking monster, but then he got shredded, and you were like, I remember seeing him at like Battle of the River. He like gone in, he had just started, never done a show before, and I was like talking to him. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get in bodybuilding. You know, he like kind of just like mumbled a little bit.
Kind of, bitch. You
Yeah.
are. You could have been really, really fucking good.
And then he starts, and I'm like, he's walking around, and you start looking at his calves, and they're like this big, like literally this big. And then he cuts down, and the next year you see him, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, did you eat 6 people and get a 30-inch waist in the process?
I liked him. He was a nice fella, but
the gear was
too much. I remember seeing him and he looked unhealthy. And then,
well, we've already discussed this about this thing.
Yeah. But then later when he got with Christino,
but then he went back.
I remember I came out there and I'm like, oh wow, you look good, man, because he looked so much better. And I said, let me guess, Chris like cut your gear in half, didn't he? He's like, yeah.
But then he went back.
Oh yeah, well.
And then.
Choking on a fucking way.
He went fucking hypo or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not sure what actually, there's lots of strange.
It was like he choked, but it was, the whole thing was like that he was like going hypo.
Oh, so that caused it, okay. That and that one and then the Rich Piana thing, that was always interesting.
Yeah, let's up the slit.
Well, that dude is like, I really like Rich Piana. He was like a cool dude. Nice. Like I didn't know him super well, but I knew
he was a fucking big guy though.
Yeah. And I thought, what a nice guy. Super intelligent, super
great
nice.
Business guy.
Yeah, and he was from money. His family.
Not a great bodybuilder, just huge.
No, actually he was a mediocre bodybuilder. He was big bodybuilder.
He was big, but he just wasn't. He didn't have great lines.
No, his waist was real blocky. He was real thick in the middle and stuff. So he got all those tattoos, and he done them in a special way to make his body look better.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it. Yeah, he did it specific.
Kristen, you know who Rich Piana is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to be specific sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Gosh.
I know most of our
No, most of it. And I was just saying, she's new to the bodybuilding world. Dude, she literally was like second show pro.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, that is a pretty good, that's an awesome accomplishment.
I literally back-to-back weekends.
There's only one other person I know who's done something similar. Well,
I have 2 of them.
You don't. And that's Phil Heath.
Yeah.
3 shows and he's a pro.
Yeah, Hunter was qualified pro. Kristen was qualified next weekend pro card in the same year. I did it 2 months within each other.
Like? So does that give you because that gives you a skew, that's got to give you a skewed sense of the shit because I spent fucking 30 years in the trenches just trying to get a fucking pro card.
That's like, the second I walked off stage after getting, he's like, this doesn't happen. Don't get used to this. This is not what it's like.
I know, I told her, I was
Literally
like, she literally
walks
walks on stage, shits on everybody in Tucson, sorry. Like, nobody else should have even been on the stage. Like, it was like, go put her in the corner, she won. You didn't, walks out, looks at her, literally leaves. Walked out. Seriously. And then comes and talks to us after the show.
I know. What did you say?
He said, run to, he said,
like,
do not walk, do not ever. He said,
do
do whatever you
walk.
need to do, run. He said, bring her in a little tighter.
Yeah.
And I was like, done. Thanks. We went up there, boom, pro card.
Bam. Well, Gary knows what he's fucking talking about.
Yeah, he does. He's a great guy, too. Super nice.
It wasn't back-to-back shows, but the part that wasn't seen was the year leading up to constant.
Well, I mean, we put 2 years into
before.
making her,
no,
but the whole idea was figure.
Of course.
The whole idea was figure.
Right.
But then we were like, oh, fuck wellness. And she wasn't going to compete anymore.
Really? You were going to do figure. You're so nicely built for wellness.
Well, wellness didn't exist.
At the time, it wasn't around.
And so she was
done.
done. I mean, pretty much you were
I
done.
didn't care.
She didn't really care.
I loved competing. I loved bodybuilding. I loved the training.
But it was
aspect
just
of
kind of
no matter
like, she's
what.
like, I don't really care about competing anymore
The girls
because
are getting
it came
so
down to
big.
because it was figure and we're like, it was just, we were just going to train like we were doing it. And I was going to really focus on doing North Americans last year. And she was like, I don't want to take all the gear or everything, so I'm just going to train like I'm competing, but not do what I need to do because it was figure. No, because it was figure, man. Like they were so big, it was just like no matter what she did. And then I was like, fuck no, you're competing. They just made this new class. It's made for you. I was like, Kristen, this is your class. You have to compete. And then I tore my tricep.
No, he literally assured me. He's like, I promise you, if you compete this year, you're going to turn pro.
I told her, I said, if you let me put you on stage and you fought, I said, I promise I'll turn you pro. I was like, I guarantee you you're a pro card by the end of the year. And then I tore my tri, and it was like, so I stopped. So it was like all focus on her. So we did that, and then we literally went to Tucson, turned around.
Which we weren't even going to do.
We weren't even going to do it. And I was like, fuck it, let's just strip you down. And we were going to do USAs. And then he's like, no, go right now. You're ready. So I got her a little harder. Threw in some cardio the week in between that universe. I didn't even she did like 1 cardio session. No, 3 for the whole prep.
Yeah, but that week before going from Tucson to Universe,
we did cardio every day, 20 minutes.
Just 20 minutes sprints.
But you got to remember, I've been dieting her
solid.
metabolism for 3 years, making it
To fix
work
it.
however I want it to work.
Which is
I can be like, I want to do
as
this,
many
this,
carbs,
and
like
I can
so
just
much
make
food.
it. Yeah, she eats like a classic physique guy.
Oh,
like
okay,
what?
good.
Honestly, like
You love food?
I don't stop eating. I
like
never
a whole
stop
box
eating.
of cereal, bro.
Wow, man, you guys.
But no,
like
but the
cereal.
cool thing is, I'll say this: once I've had her fixed, she'll get leaner the more I feed her.
Right.
But
It took me a long
she
time to get
eats.
that.
I look at other people's nutrition plans, and I'm like laughing. I'm like Clive, what he had before. His previous coach, horrible. So bad that
So just
she.
so everybody knows, Clyde's a big dude.
Clive's a huge
my
dude.
gosh.
Hey, we're moving him to open, super heavy.
Yeah.
And
Bodybuilder.
so I took
He's
a
big,
look,
he's
I
lean,
took
he's
a
big.
look at like his old macros from when he was competing. She doubled his food in prep.
I love it.
Double.
I ate a lot.
And did no cardio. And he was doing 2 hours of
That's
cardio.
because whoever
per
he
hour.
has a coach that didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah, just a different style.
No, there wasn't a different style. It was.
The stuff, well,
I'm just not-
it
there's
is-
a different style that just doesn't work, and there's a
well, see,
style
what,
that
so what happens with a lot of these, what I mean by this is what happens is that a lot of these
Lots of
guys-
drugs, lots of cardio, little food.
Right, and they just tend to, the solution is to just to take away food and to increase
Well, it's just,
activity.
well, it's hard. It's very hard. It's easier for me, and you'll probably agree with this, to train people below you. And I don't mean that below you, but as in, if I'm a 6'1", 270-pound man. If you're 190 pounds, I know how to train you. If you're 190 pounds, you don't really know how to train me because you don't know what my body's doing.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, it can be harder. And like, I feel like both of us are pretty good with female athletes, which neither one of us are a female, but it's still easier than
Really?
like a bikini. It's harder to see like a bikini girl go, and this is no offense, go train a super heavy bodybuilder. Like,
Right.
it's just very, so if you take a 170-pound classic physique competitor and have him training Clive, you're going to get what he's going to emulate that. He doesn't know what it's like to be 250 pounds lifting 500 pounds. Like,
Yeah.
Force feeds 8,000 calories
yeah,
a day. My
yeah.
God.
We haven't. I upped his food, and he's 12 weeks out. I had to. He's starving, and he's growing and dropping body fat. Like, I was like, oh shit, man. I saw him this week, and I was like, fuck, your abs are like in, and I want you to grow into open. Up your food. I was like, here's another 300 grams of carbs. Go
Nice.
for it.
Does he feel better?
Yeah.
Good. That's the difference between. So what you're really doing is what I call it. What you're really doing is you're really feeding. You're training
Yeah.
metabolism,
Right.
and you have to do this. You
It
have to-
took.
Yeah. It
He
took
literally
years
had
to fix hers,
mine, like
but
completely
It
fix
can
it.
take 6, 9, 12 months
Yeah,
to
I
get
went from,
metabolism again. If you were
green beans,
undereating,
asparagus,
Oh,
and
God.
tilapia for
well, there you go.
and
I like it.
16
my
weeks
favorite. Yeah.
and hours of cardio.
So I oftentimes do a purge when I start with. So I work with female clients. That's been the majority of them of my athletes because for whatever reason, early on, like 20 years ago, I got like pegged as this like as this figure bikini. Like, they just.
But there's
I
a
don't know why.
lot more female competitors, and female competitors are asked for help. Guys are like, no, I know how to do this, and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right.
Well, that's why I have so many good guy pros.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I used to tell people, look, man, just because you got a great physique doesn't mean you can teach people how to get.
Hey,
100%.
well, it's like NFL athlete. Go get an NFL receiver, try to teach a high school kid how to play football. They're like, I look in the Jumbotron, and I just have to be in a spot in this amount of time, and I get there however I want. Like, teach a slant route.
Speaking of which, did he tell you about this rugby thing?
Yeah.
Did you?
Well, I found out today on his. I looked at the
Well, he was
calendar.
telling
I was
me,
like,
Rugby. I was like, we should go play rugby. We should. We have an open invite. He's got some rugby team.
So I'm like going, man, that's a good way for Chad to get hurt. But
And
it
he
sounds
goes,
like a lot of fun.
you're gonna get hurt. And I was like, yeah, you know how much fun it's gonna be? They're supposed to play like this nationally ranked team next week, and
they're gonna-
Shane's like, we're gonna get killed. And I was like, oh, challenge accepted. He's like, just all you have to do is take the ball and run. I was like, do they like? Is it like touch? He's like, no, they have to tackle you. I'm like, done. Let's do this. I was like, I said, but I go, well, what do I do if I get tired? Can I sub out? And he's like, no, you have to play at least 40 minutes. And I was like, all right, 40 minutes of cardio sprinting. How am I
Dude,
gonna? I'm like, I
I'm gonna
can
give her
walk.
more food.
I'm like, I can walk for a minute,
have
and then
an
I can
oxygen
sprint for
tank.
15 seconds, and then I can walk for 2 minutes, and I can sprint for 30 seconds.
Oh man, I just like, you know how I feel about it. I'm a little, it sounds like a lot of fun. But
You're going to get your CPAP machine on the side of the
He's
line.
gonna need it too. You're gonna need both the oxygen tanks.
I'm going to run with the oxygen tank on my back.
I do miss being on the field. And stuff like
I know.
that.
I was like, this could be fun though. It's the only cardio I'm doing all week though. I'm
It's just a bunch of
putting it
Polynesian
all
guys.
into one. Yeah, and it's a bunch of Polynesian guys.
I said, man, these motherfuckers are big.
And I'm like, yes.
They're
He goes,
huge.
they're huge and they have huge joints. I'm like, Tad, the more you're saying right now, the more I want to go do this. Like, you're not discouraging right now.
Gosh.
So,
And then I go, Chase, do you ever get in fights? He's like, all the time. And I was like, yes. It's like a big fist fight.
Oh my God.
so an outlet for.
Yeah.
I would like to box too. I like doing that. That's fun. I just,
Boxing.
yeah, just like sparring and stuff.
Oh,
You know?
so much fun.
It
I'm
is.
sparring. I'll get
He wants,
pissed
like-
if somebody hits me. I'll hit the mitts in the bag
Well,
very
like-
gently.
Well,
Yeah, this is what I'll go what and go psh, and blow the shit out again.
No,
it's
you
fun.
won't.
it's
It
you're
was-
supposed
that
to
what
do
happened?
2/3 power. You're not supposed to do full power.
Yeah.
Sparring.
No, it's so much fun.
But some people do kind of like get over.
Overzealous?
Yeah,
I was like
like,
2/3 power. So
You're like,
like,
oh yeah, motherfucker.
so like 50%.
Like Kamachi, you're like, wait. Are we playing?
Just gotta. That's why you want to spar with someone's experience because some stupid ass kid in there fucking wants
Oh,
thinks he wants to fucking show you something. I'm like,
I'll just take the gloves off.
oh shit.
Be like, all right, let's go.
It's
No
just-
gloves, no headgear. What now?
You know, when I was in high school, my stepfather had a guy who was a Gold Gloves champion, and he stayed with us for a while. So he taught my brother how to box, and just some of the basics and
Yeah.
fundamentals. And after that, I got a full fucking respect for boxers. I'm like, these
that's
motherfuckers,
just hard.
you throw punches for 3 minutes with a 16-ounce glove, 3 minutes.
Well, the
it's fucking
footwork's hard too.
The shoulders are fire.
He does like a 20-pounder and he just goes for hours.
Yeah.
I'm like, how?
Queese, one of
One
our
of our
friends.
buddies.
Oh.
He was a pro athlete there. He was a cornerback for
He's the one I told you. He's
Jets
like
Patriots.
says he never does any activity.
Yeah,
But
we
he'll go
talked about
box
him
for like
remember?
Oh yeah.
hours.
all
with a
day,
20
and then
pound-
teaches
Oh,
kids
yeah,
to
yeah.
and then do that. He's like, but I didn't do anything today. I'm like, yeah, because you played Xbox
Boxing
for
for
an hour and
hours.
you've been up since 5 a.m. every day.
Super active.
It's just different than like, hey, I got to be at the gym, I got to be at combine, I got to be at practice.
Which is kind of nice, that whole like rugby thing for you guys if you did it. It's like you're not at the gym, but you're doing activity. Fun.
Give me wheels spinning on my head and shit.
I'm like, I don't even know how to play rugby. I just know
I
you
don't
can
know
pass
rugby.
backward. There's a scrum. What's it called? A scrum.
A
Scrum.
scrum. That's when they'll get together, and then I don't know how that shit works. To me, it just like they're all hugging.
Put that shit on YouTube live.
Yo, guys, we just learned today. Let's go.
Semi-pro rugby players done. One practice, I'm ready.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Neither of you allowed to get hurt though.
Stop.
No kidding. I could just foresee something bad happening.
Yeah, that's like the last thing we need right now.
All right,
Or
go.
we have goals.
Go.
We got goals.
Lay
That's
down.
right.
Not looking
And
at
you're
me
supposed to
right
be on
now.
stage too, man. Like,
Yeah, he's supposed to be on stage. You got a goal way that you're trying to get to. No one's allowed to get hurt.
health is my first overall goal. General health.
Yeah.
I just want to be healthy, stay healthy, so I can do this shit. But
Uh-huh.
I was I got my scale. I finally got a scale. I threw in my other scale. When I moved
Blame
here.
you.
Stop it. Lay down. Lay down.
Go on, lay down.
I know you just want loving.
So
Yeah.
You just want wet too. I'm sweaty from the
That's
gym
what
all
it does.
day.
So,
He's like, let me clean you.
but I'm really happy that I'm always been climbing. So back up like 225. I'm
I
good.
told you, we're getting to 260. If I got to go to 300, you're going to 260.
I can deal with that as long as I'm not
Lean.
too chunky. You know, like,
Lean.
I don't want to be like all chunky because I'll be breathing
Single
heavy.
digits.
Yeah. I just remember what it was like, man. I'd be in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I'm like 260.
Yeah, and you're trying to get me over 300.
But not like fat 300.
I don't want you to be fat either.
I want you to be a good, solid 300, you know?
Yeah, already squeezing.
Not that bad.
Yeah, it's my allergies.
So, I know, I got the same thing, but I take
We were
algae
doing it
medicine.
earlier too.
You should take some algae medicine.
Yeah.
Just during this.
And every time I go, Ted's like, "Let me give you this. Let me give
I
you
just
that.
want you to get oxygen,
Take
man.
this. Take that.
Like, get
Like
some
I
oxygen.
can't breathe."
Just breathe. That's all we want.
So important. Although I don't think long-term algae medicine is good for you,
No,
but
a little bit would be nice.
I thought when I moved to Arizona, I'd be like.
I did too, and
allergy-free.
my allergies are the worst they've ever been.
And I know why. You know why? Because all these new flora they bring
Everyone.
in. Everyone brings in all these palms.
Yeah.
These palms are not native to this area. There's
No.
no fucking palm trees in the desert. Not in this fucking desert.
Cacti.
It's all cactus and stuff. So, but we got all these flowers and grasses and shit that aren't native. They're supposed to be here. Same thing happened in California.
Yeah, well, it's all just whatever.
Because I remember when I was a kid, when I was 6, right before I got into first grade, my mother, my doctor, my brother and I, we had such bad allergies in Oregon that the doctor literally said, look, your boys are going to die. No, I'm not getting, you're going to stunt their growth because our immune systems were so compromised because we were literally, I'm not joking, during the summer when all the grasses would bloom, we lived in this little trailer, we had a little carport that was 20 feet away. I couldn't walk from the door to the car, get in the car without my eyes swelling shut. Like they would literally swell shut. And I remember just going, my mother put wet towels over our heads just to get to the damn car. And then so he's like, hey, you need to move somewhere dry.
Right.
And like he said, Vegas or Phoenix. And we didn't know anyone in Phoenix. So my mother knew we had family in Vegas.
Yeah.
So we moved to Vegas. And sure enough, it cleared it all up. I outgrew it. But now when I go back to Vegas, it's different.
Yeah, it's gross.
Now I get a little allergies. I can still.
Interesting.
Not as bad as here.
Yeah.
But enough because Vegas is double and triple in size since the 70s, as they brought in all these flora just like they did here, and so it changes. We do have a fucking impact on our ecology. Okay?
Yeah, 100%.
Like people who don't believe in climate change, I'm like, oh my god, you just aren't listening to what's going. You aren't fucking observing what the fuck's going on.
Yes.
Like, look what's going on, like just in our own weather patterns.
Yes.
This is just different. This year, what they said was are we having a shorter winter or a longer winter?
I don't know. I think it's
shorter.
I thought it was shorter.
I thought it was shorter.
It was cold today.
No, it was all right.
It was cold. It's not this morning. It was fucking cold, man. You weren't there at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m.
This is coming from a guy from Nashville.
I hate the cold.
No, you don't like cold?
No.
Okay, well, I don't like either. I like hot.
I hate cold
I
weather.
like hot.
That's why I moved here.
Yeah.
Love the heat.
All right, so we need to do bullshit or bliss.
Yeah.
And
the PD of the week.
oh yeah, PD of the week and then exercise of the week.
The exercise of the week I like there's the one that we did today for the chest.
Which one?
The crossover.
I love that
I
exercise.
fucking love this. And I've never done it before until I met you.
Well, it's just
So just explain to everybody what it is.
all right. So you take a plate loaded. We use a plate loaded. You can use any type of
Hammer
machine.
strength. We use hammer strength.
Hammer strength. Yeah, it's like a hammer strength, but a
It's
plate
an
loaded
incline press,
machine
right?
on an incline.
Yeah.
And you set up short motion cross body.
So you're instead of sitting your back
So like
flat against the
you're
pad,
sitting
your shoulders
this way.
against the pad.
Right,
So
right shoulders against the pad. You want the bar to start right at the nipple level, and you're going to press up.
And it's
but in
only
it's
couple
literally you don't
inches.
want it extended across.
Yeah.
It's basically
just
to
the
where
just the upper arm movement,
elbow
just to
hits
contract
the edge of the pec, and you hit that upper inner
You deeply
head.
feel it right at the origin.
Yeah, it's right there.
Origin of your pecs.
Yeah, it's right. Well, it's
At the
upper
top.
origin too.
Yeah.
If you squeeze, you can get that shelf.
Yeah.
I like try to squeeze my shelf, and he said, "How do you know when you're doing it?" I'm like, "When my chin rests on my pec, when I can hit myself in the pec."
Some people don't have that. I can do that too, but some people don't have that. But you just have to, if you put your
But
hand
that's the
there-
idea. So when you get your chest bigger, you get a shorter range of motion because you hit your chest.
You know, it was funny when I was early on in my career. All my guys who worked out with me, all my training partners, they say, "Oh, you fucking," they hated to do. They had to bench with me because they're like, because it looked like I had like this short motion.
Yeah.
But it was long to me, man. Like shit. I'm like,
So basically, we'll say it's a plate-loaded incline crossbody
plate loaded.
or a machine incline crossbody,
Single
a fixed
arm.
motion
arm.
single arm.
And then you reverse it for the other side.
Yeah, then reverse.
I like that
reverse.
because I deeply feel this.
We're gonna have to start coming up with names of stuff. If we use the
Right.
stuff we make up while we're going through.
I would call
I mean,
that-
that's an old one. I've seen a bunch of people do that.
Oh, yeah, oh, really?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I would call it a cross chest, cross incline chest machine press.
We did it from like jamming crossbody. We would just do it at a
okay.
different angle. So I was like, oh, let's take this and make it an incline
Oh,
for
that's
upper
a
pec.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, good idea. Okay, so what about
PED.
Yeah.
Let's do Anavar since we have a female
Okay.
pro here. Just not that you're on drugs. I'm just saying, since let's touch one that is more geared towards women most of the time. A starter.
Well, Anavar is one of my personal favorite
Right.
drugs of all time, aside from primobolan.
Yeah, which we talked about last time, which I don't think got on the podcast, so we could have talked about Primo, but whatever.
I've favored orals my whole life.
Right.
I really like
And
it.
I'm the opposite.
But I just can't use it a lot now because my
You're
blood pressure-
old.
My blood pressure goes up.
Yeah.
Like it affects my blood pressure right
Right.
away. So I can't do that. The injectables don't.
Stop.
But
Conan, stop looking at me.
but I do like Anavar because it's one of the only steroids that I know of that when they studied it, that there's almost zero toxicity at
Right.
doses less than 50 milligrams a day. So like it's really super
It's
super
not
safe.
super, yeah. And it's
And there's very
low aromatization, right?
Well, it doesn't really aromatize
Aromatize at all, right?
But there's very little androgens.
Androgenic,
So
yeah.
women are very safe for women to use. It's still going to have a little androgens in there. So,
Yeah.
so if women use it for extended periods of time, you will get some virilization.
Right.
But it's very, very small, and you have to really, really overdo it. And you have
20 milligrams a day isn't going to make you...
No, 20, even 30 or 40.
No.
It'll be fine. Although I would say, but the drug that really
Cycle
gets
up and
women,
down.
I'll tell you the drug that gets women that they think is safe that gets them is Winstrol.
Oh, yeah, but
It's moderately androgenic.
I only use that at the very end.
If it's just for a couple of weeks, no big deal.
Yeah, just to get you
But
harder.
when you live on the shit,
Yeah.
you're changing the biochemical structure of your
body.
body. Yeah, and you don't want to do this because then you start to paralyze and
And
deep
then
in
you
your
get
voice, all these things. You don't want that stuff.
Yeah, no.
That's it. And for women, it's always about time and dosage, but
Right.
mostly time. Because you can take a little bit. You can even do, I've known women that did testosterone and tren, which I have no idea why any woman in her right mind would want to do.
Dude, I remember
even
this bikini girl came to me from another coach and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm on Trent and Winnie and da-da-da-da," and I'm like,
You know, you're still a woman yet? I'm like,
I wanted to be like, what's down there?
hello. I'm not trying to make fun of them. It's
No.
But it's like,
yeah.
these are the sad truths, right? Like, women, hey, I'm a person of equality, but we're not equal.
Be like, you don't need that for bikinis.
Just doing this.
Yeah.
Especially in this sport.
Yeah.
Fundamentally we're equal, but,
Right.
but we're not physically equal. Sorry. So, just the same, I couldn't take birth control pills. I'd turn into a woman.
100%.
You're like, fucking my titties are sore.
But I mean, now I will say this. For some women, get your hormones checked. If you're going, no matter what, if you're on it, disclosure-wise, before you use any PD, you need to get your blood panel work done. But there are women that have low testosterone that need to have it actually HRT dosed to them.
I have several clients that need it.
So do I.
Absolutely need it. Women generally start to run low. Some women do as they age,
Right.
and it's really weird. Their hormones start to rebalance.
Flip-flop, yeah.
And all of a sudden they're really low, and then it's because they don't have it. They have all these problems.
Right.
So it's like, and they can't lose weight. They can't,
Yeah.
So it's really, really important, and you don't have energy levels and all these things. And most of the thing is the thyroid.
Right.
But it's really not.
It's not.
Yep.
It's usually the
Test levels.
testosterone.
All right. Bullshit or bliss.
Okay, so go first.
I don't even know where to start on this one this week. I just know we have to do it, so I was throwing it out there.
So this is the time, I don't know if Kristen knows.
I was like, I don't even know this
This
one.
is the time where we each come up with either a topic or a question where we ask the other person,
Is it bullshit or bliss?
bullshit or bliss? So I'll start. I'll
okay,
give you an
all right.
example. Because I have a sneeze, especially
Yeah.
ketogenic diets.
Oh, bullshit. But unless, hold on, there are times, especially when women post-show to help reset the hormonal panel. There's times applicable for any diet.
Right.
But
Okay.
as overall, the way that people use it today, one, nobody knows what the fuck a keto diet is. Guess what? Fish and asparagus is not keto. Second, that's just starving. And because you have to have a fat source. A lot of people say, oh, I'm keto, but you don't have any fat in or carbs. You're just eating protein and vegetables.
They might be ketogenic.
Yeah. Well, they're saying I'm using a keto diet, which is
Keto diet really you rely on fats for energy.
for sure. I say bullshit for that reason, unless very specific. There are specific reasons for it, but as a whole dieting mechanism, keto, because you can't live like that forever anyway.
I mean, Dave Palumbo, that's his main, go-to, and he really, really believes in ketogenic diets, and I think they have a place. Absolutely, I agree. I'm with you. They have absolutely, and I've used them extensively with different people.
I've used them, yeah.
But I don't think that it's a healthy way to live.
I remember my keto phase. It was about 3 months. I was like, oh yeah, let's use
I
keto. It's great.
I tried.
I was like, oh fuck, I did some research on it. It's stupid.
Well, I mean, many years ago, I tried a ketogenic diet for myself.
It was like in '90s. It was kind of a
it
90s
was
or
starting to
2000
It
fad.
became popular then.
Yeah. I'm in bodybuilding. I'm saying.
I did it like 2006. I think I tried a 7. Because I'd never done that in a prep before, so I decided to try to do it for myself. Because it worked for many, many other people, but had never done it myself. I tried it, and I always get lean. I got lean. I got in shape, but I couldn't fill out. I just could not fill out. I did not. My muscle quality did not have the same look to it, and so I just abandoned it for myself in general.
Yeah.
And I'm not really a big fan for myself. And for most bodybuilders who are over 220 pounds on stage, no. When your body's as big like this, as big as I am, as big as Zach is, or just if you're over 200, if you lean 200 pounds, then that's a big engine. That's an engine.
Yeah.
That's running all the time, and if you start starving it. Don't give it the
start having issues with it.
Just start having issues.
You don't have water, all the things. It's like, think of it, I love using the analogy of cars.
Yes.
It's like water's the oil to your car to make your engine run. Like
food,
like carbs are your gas.
So I tell people this, I give people this analogy. Our bodies are always burning a mixture of fuels. We're a high performance vehicle.
I don't know what I did.
Oh, geez.
You're
thinking about...
You're good.
Okay?
I'll be back.
Okay. So we're like a high performance vehicle. We're always burning a mixture of fuels. We're burning fats, proteins, and carbs all at the same time. It's just all we really do with our diet and our training and cardio is we adjust the fuel mixture. And so a ketogenic diet adjusts that mixture so that you're burning a much higher ratio of fats and proteins. You don't really want this all the time. Yeah. It's not a great way. You could not do the workouts that you do if you were burning fats. Predominantly.
Yeah, I feel like
there's no way you'd be able to do it. I couldn't do the ones, there's just no way. It's because muscle contraction isn't as strong. All these things, they don't happen as easily when there's no carbs. Yeah. So, not to mention the body just prefers to burn sugars.
Carbs, yeah.
It just prefers it.
Less efficient.
All right, barbell bench press.
Bullshit.
Okay, good. I agree, 100%. I'm not even going to go into why. I just wanted to discredit that lift completely. I never use it.
I can tell you exactly. I like the lift as a warm-up. And as something that I've always done as a warm-up.
You did it the other day as a warm-up when I wasn't training chest with you, and I almost videoed you just to give you shit about it later. If I wasn't with a client, I would have videoed you just to give you shit.
But as a developmental exercise, as exercise for longevity, bullshit. It's absolutely...
I'm like, the fact that they use it as a measure of strength and performance for like performance athletes, I'm like, why?
Well, it's probably one of the biggest contributors to rotator cuff issues.
100%. Weight run fits motion.
Literally anything. It's horrible.
So I stopped doing it.
I love that L press we do though. The one that I call the L press. He was like, what did you call it? You didn't call it that. I was like, oh yeah, let's L press. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, the lift that we did, you showed me the other day?
It's a fly.
Because your arms are making L's.
It's a fly.
That's a fly. Yeah. That's an L press.
I don't when I do a fly, I'm never extended weight. I don't like feeling that tension right here on the bicep. I don't like feeling that. It doesn't make me feel safe. I want the sucker locked in, and I only want to feel my chest. And besides, I figure that's exactly
when you hit a crab, bodybuilder, crab pose.
Everything is for the modality of being on stage. Everything is for aesthetics. Everything is for that. I didn't get in the sport to fucking bench 800 pounds.
I just hate the crab pose. We've talked about it before.
You don't?
I hate it.
Oh, there's many ways to do it.
Least favorite pose. Any of them.
It was always one of my favorites.
I know.
I like that. I like my front double bicep. I like that pose, and I like rear double bicep.
I guess there's a lot better pose. I'm like, do most muscular crab pose. I'm like, oh my god, you can literally do anything you want. Why are you doing that pose? Although Phil Heath does it really well.
It depends on what your muscle structure looks like. Right. Everyone looks different.
But I don't ever train traps, so
I never did my. When I ever did my muscle structure, I always did it with my hands on my sides.
Oh yeah.
Because I want people to see all the shit. Like I never really.
That's why I don't like that one because I feel like you're hiding everything. I'm like,
the way most people do crab, they hide their abs. They hide everything.
Why? If you're shredding, you're ready to be on stage. Don't.
In my opinion. I think you look the best when you're almost.
I think everybody should hit a victory pose because it's the hardest pose and it shows every shit. Not everybody.
I would. That you got to be thick. You got to be forearm thick. You got to be bicep thick. You
and tiny have all waist.
Fucking tendons. You got to have all the shit to make that.
That's
pose.
the one that Trey tells me to always say.
And I'll tell you the reason why. Because Sergio Oliva Sr. fucked it up for everybody. You fucking look too good. You look too fucking good in that pose.
But tiny waist, big lats, tiny wrist. Huge form.
Dude,
quads.
I've told this to people before. If that dude was born just 20 years later, he would have been a fucking phenomenal
for sure.
He would have been way better than Arnold. He was way better than Arnold ever was. Completely better. I absolutely believe that he could easily rival Ronnie Coleman, but he would have been bigger. He would have been bigger. Yeah. I actually knew a guy in Chicago because he's from Chicago. When I lived in Chicago a couple years ago, I was at the gym and I'm training this guy. He's like, "Hey man, can I ask you a question?" He's an older fella. He's a couple years older than mine. He's like, "You know Sergio?"
He's an older fella. A couple years older than mine. Well, he's the oldest you've ever sounded. He's an older fella.
I didn't mean he was older. I meant he was
an older fella.
Where did that? He was not 25. Yeah. He's like 50, 40.
He's not like you. Yeah.
He's like me.
No, he's not like you. 50 and that's 25.
So anyways, he goes, the way you work out, man, you work out just like fucking Sergio does.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so do you know him? I'm like, I know who he is. I said,
Yeah,
I know his
everybody
son.
knows
I
him.
said, I know
Yeah.
his son really well. I said, but I've never met him. He's like, well, I used to live next door to him. And he said, that's how I started training with him. So and he said, yeah, man, I used to give him his drugs, I used to do all this stuff. He's like, yeah, because I got him into the police force.
Wow.
So he did all this stuff, and he said, I helped him. He would write up all of his police reports because Sergio couldn't write that good. So he's like, he said, he would take him home and I would fucking help him find him out. I'm like, oh, fucking awesome, dude.
That's cool.
Yeah, he was a nice dude. He did roofing or something. He was like always slammed, always super busy,
Always.
money to throw away.
Yeah.
He's always driving new cars and shit. He's like, hey, my friend works he owns like a car dealership, gives him good deals. So he just gets, I'm like, yeah, you want a car?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
New vet.
I'm looking forward to that new vet.
I know.
I know you don't like the electric.
I don't like the electric part of
You're
it,
gonna
but
do it?
it'll be cool.
I really want
He
one.
gets a new car every 2 years.
3.
Oh, I thought it was 2.
Yeah, I don't want car
ADD.
problems. That was
Yeah.
the
You have an electric car.
I know, but no, because when cars get old, shit starts going wrong.
Yes.
I don't want to have to start my car. Or like the starter thing you get going on with your car. I don't have to worry about that, man.
Fuel throttle.
Because I am not like Joe. He knows how to fix everything.
Yeah, he tried to fix mine. It didn't fucking work either.
Well, at least he knows how to.
But he knows how to do it. Yeah.
And
It's
I walk into a mechanic and they're like, oh, okay, easy money. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, bro. It's going to cost you $5,000. I'm like,
Nope.
I'm like,
New car.
Yeah.
Dude, I got a flat one time. I had a Camaro and I got a flat, and I had these Pirelli 000s, and my buddy's like,
ooh, nice.
yeah, $700 to get a new tire. I was like, let's put that spare on. Literally drove to the dealership the next day and bought a truck. I was like, not even paying for this shit.
I
Fuck
remember
this.
when my Z06, I was in the Bay Area, and they were doing some construction in my neighborhood, built some house or something, and I kept getting these fucking flats.
God, I would
I'm
have
like,
fucking
man,
car though.
I
I want the fucking car again.
and one of them went in on the side.
Yeah.
So then I got to get a tire, $900 tires, a piece.
Fuck, I love that car.
But they were fucking. I love that car.
I love that car too, and now I'm like, fuck, why'd you get rid of that car?
It was good.
It's so fast.
It was throaty when you hit the accelerator. Oh, and
It was so bad.
And
You would never be allowed to drive it, ever.
it was only stick.
You couldn't even keep the freaking back on the concrete. I remember it was raining, and I lived like at the top of a hill, and I was sitting at the bottom. I was getting so annoyed. I was like, because it would just go. We had cammed it out and done a bunch of shit. It was like 700 horsepower.
Oh, shit.
Stupid. It was so much fun.
But the car all the cars I've owned in my life. I've owned a lot of really nice cars. The one car that gave me the most attention anywhere I went was my Celine Mustang, convertible red Celine Mustang,
yeah.
and it was the cheapest one of them all. It was only like $60,000.
Still bad.
But it was awesome. It was like,
Such a dope car.
oh yeah, that car was loud. And every time I pull up at a light, some fucking young kid like, hey, like, you don't want to do that, bro. I'm like, but the irony is, my Tesla now is fucking faster.
Because it's
Really?
like, dink.
It's quicker. It's not
It
faster.
just doesn't
but it's
sound.
quicker.
It doesn't sound.
It doesn't sound. It sounds like a golf cart.
Yeah.
Because it is
Yeah.
electric.
It's electric.
It's
That's
a
what it is.
supercharged golf cart.
But I've exchanged my audible pleasure for being greener.
Yes.
That's
I
what
don't care
I.
about that, but that's a good thing.
I'm like, give me a diesel I can roll coal in, and I'll be out. I'll white smoke some 40s on the interstate going from the third
That's
to
why you
fourth.
need guys like me.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I can do my thing. You can do yours.
You need about 100 guys like me to make one.
Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
So what's the?
No.
I did the key.
I did bench press.
So is it my turn?
Flatman. Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay. This is gonna test your. This is a whole different genre. Guns N' Roses.
Oh, bliss.
Really?
Dude, I've seen them live in concert. I love Guns N' Roses.
I liked them. I liked them in
awesome.
high school.
Love Guns N' Roses. You don't like them?
They're okay. I mean, like I just like.
Dude, Axl Rose, come on.
Well,
He is like an icon in
no doubt.
rock and roll.
No doubt.
Yeah, you're all right. I got one for you. Kiss.
Oh, that's my bliss, man.
See, that's age right there.
Yeah,
that's the age gap
my
right
first
there.
two favorite bands.
Christian's like, I'm like, name 3 songs by each. See, I'm just showing the age gap right now. I'm like,
and roll
Kiss,
all night, Beth.
Guns N' Roses. She can't even name 3 songs by each artist.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
No, I'm just messing. I'm giving you a hard time because I'm saying that it's like literally that. It's like we're 10 years apart. We're about what 14 years apart or something. It's like we have like 3 different generations.
Yeah, it's really so I'll even go one step further. Let's see, the $6 Million Man.
Yeah, that's not.
Is
that a big band?
No, man, it's a TV show.
Like
from the
a-
70s. The $6 Million with
That's
Lee Majors.
pre-me. Yeah, that's pre-me.
Okay, so that's Bliss.
Oh wait! I do know that show, but
Lee Majors started it. It was a regular weekly show every Friday night, I believe it was, because I would stay up. It was the $6 Million Man. We watched The Incredible Hulk and Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah. Dukes of Hazzard is awesome though.
Well, that extended into the 80s, so you probably remember that.
No, I watched the original one because they used to play reruns on CMT after school.
Yeah, I watched it when it came out.
I know. I was watching your reruns in middle school.
So for me, those.
What was the one with the car though? I love that show with the Baywatch guy. Who's the fucking?
You're talking about Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. Oh, that show. Okay,
Bliss.
I got one for you. I agree. I love that show. MacGyver.
Bliss. I love.
All right,
MacGyver.
one more. Miami Vice.
Bliss.
Okay, all right, cool.
My favorite. I could never understand how these 2 fucking detectives had fucking these rocking ass fucking
all the
powers
time.
They're
Because
just-
they were undercover in Miami.
I know, like that's the job I want.
And Don Johnson had an alligator.
Oh, did he really?
Yes,
I
he
remember
had an alligator in it.
that. Oh man, I haven't seen that show forever, man.
I love the show though, but now everybody's like, oh yeah, Jamie Foxx and Colin Farrell. I'm like, Don Johnson, how dare you?
I didn't even watch
How dare you? Actually, that movie was awesome.
Was
It
it?
was Michael Bay. It was really good.
Okay. I didn't watch it.
It's actually like really good, and you'll love the soundtrack.
So if you like
It has audio slave.
So you like Michael Bay stuff?
I like some of it.
I do. I like his stuff. Then Heat.
That's like my favorite movie
That's
of
a
all
badass
time.
movie.
That's Bliss. I try to.
I
All right.
really feel like you guys are just becoming best friends. Every time you say it, I'm like, okay.
No, it's one of my top 2.
There's a
top
certain
2.
things.
My dad, I watched that movie with my dad, so I love that. Plus, it's got Al Pacino. It's got long hair.
It's got Robert De Niro. Right?
Robert De Niro, and it
Val
has
Kilmer.
Val Kilmer. But it's like the prequel. Have you seen The Town?
No.
The
Town. Who's in
We
there?
were talking about Ben Affleck.
Oh, but
If you haven't watched it, you need to watch it. Watch it tonight.
that's
actually.
where he's like your feet. Because
Yeah.
I think I did.
Do you not feel like that's the modern Heat? It's like the exact same.
Oh, really?
Watch it.
Okay,
You'll have to rewatch it. It's very, very similar.
What I liked about Heat was like, man, like especially I wanted Robert De Niro.
So bad. So bad.
I did not want.
She's never seen
I'm
it.
like, no, I have to watch
She's
it.
never seen it. It's so good.
Oh man, he's got that little love story in there too. And it's like,
It's really
I was
good.
like, oh man, I will spoil it for you. So.
So
but the
good.
soundtrack is good.
Awesome.
Fucking, like,
We were talking about it. All right, well, my last one, and then we'll be done because we went on a movie kick. Lost Boys.
Bliss. I like.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah.
I said I was
That was
talking
high school. That was
about.
high
I was
school.
like, what other movie? Even if you're a bodybuilder in purple spandex pants, chain playing a saxophone. You can't beat it. It's
All the
amazing.
time.
I still believe that's the song. That's a badass soundtrack.
Yeah, that is a good. Yeah, that's good. I liked it
Because we heard it. Remember, I walked in and I go, "This is the Lost Boys."
Oh, yeah,
Cry
yeah,
Little
yeah.
Sister,
I'm
and the
like,
guy
"Damn,
was
how'd you know that?" I was
posing
like,
to
"Fuck,
it.
that's good." That many people know that shit. That and one of the other movies I liked was you're probably a little too young for you, but Legend with Tom Cruise. Tangerine Dream.
That is one. I'm obsessed with it. I watch it all the
Oh,
time.
my brother and I
all the
Plays it
time.
on repeat.
Oh, legit! I love that movie.
That's
Repeat.
awesome.
Dude, so good.
Tim Curry as Dom.
Yes,
He's
yes, the
fucking
devil.
awesome. He's awesome.
Jack. No,
I
Jack.
can't believe you guys are obsessed with the same movies, of course.
Well, they're good movies. Like
Yes, they're old movies too. I'm like, fuck these new movies.
I
Let me
think
watch
that
some old
whole
movies.
soundtrack was about Tangerine Dream.
It was.
Great soundtrack.
So good.
The only, when I look at it now, like I've never been a big Tom Cruise fan. Like I like his movies, but I'm like he did. I mean, I liked him in that movie, but
That movie was good, but that was like pre-Tom Cruise. He was like 17.
Yeah.
What was that surfing movie?
Oh. All right, here's my last one. And I'm going to go try.
it's-
This is it. Point Break.
With Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, not the new one. The new one sucked.
No, but the other one.
Yeah.
Bliss, yeah.
Okay.
With what's his name?
Patrick Swayze.
Patrick Swayze. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good
He made
movie.
me watch that. That was a good one.
That was a good movie. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I know there's got to be. There's a ton.
And then this is going to turn into another hour. I gotta go back.
There's some.
We got to save it for Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Oh, fucking Justice League.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Justice League. Okay, that's what's going to be. Are you sure this thing's like 4 hours?
It's like 3.5 hours.
Okay, I'm
Oh
okay
my
with
gosh.
that. Because the last time, whenever I watch these movies, I'm like, that's it.
No. It's like 3.5 hours. I actually think they might release it in 2 parts.
Really?
I'd heard that it was like a mini series, like episode 1.
Oh, interesting.
Well, whatever it is, I'm ready.
Or it might be like 6 hours. I don't know. It might be
when
like
does it come out? Like 4 days from now?
No, 2 days.
2 days.
Tomorrow,
okay.
Wednesday.
I keep getting these
17th.
alerts on my TV. You're like,
It's the 17th.
Oh.
because I subscribe to
HBO
Got
Max.
it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find another service. I'm getting bored with Netflix, Amazon Prime, and HBO Max. I'm getting bored. So like, I want new shit. I didn't have Hulu, but they're kind of.
It's all you can get it all on those 3.
And I don't like live TV.
Yeah.
I don't like, so I'm not going to do.
I watch
YouTube
TV. I
live.
just watch movies.
I don't movies. That's right. I don't movies,
watch
and I
it.
want
And-
predominantly movies, not predominantly series. I want
No. I get
Cinemax?
seconds.
What's that one?
No. You can get everything on Prime. Everything's on Prime and Netflix.
But I want a subscription to something so I don't have to pay for
Stars.
it. Stars.
Yeah, watch Power.
Power. Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen that. It was on Netflix.
Power's not on Netflix.
No.
Not Project Power. This is a whole series, 6 seasons.
What is
It's
it
called
about?
Power. Watch it.
What's it about?
It's about like the biggest drug dealer in New York
Oh.
in his like life, and he's going straight. 50 Cent made it up. It's
That's pretty good.
So it sounds like New Jack City, but just with a series.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Actually,
I like that
It's
movie.
spot on. It's so good, but it's like super intertwined, and he's trying to go like legit. He ends up like running for like
Sounds
a
so
government
cool.
official, and fuck that. It's been out for like 3 years. Well, like I'm just giving you a brief synopsis of like 6 seasons.
That's cool.
It's good.
He's got kids. It's good.
I gotta watch it, getting sucked into these series, man, because I start binging this shit.
I know.
Yeah,
Trust
then
me, I
you're gonna
know.
be like 2 hours. Fuck you! It's your fault. You're late. You told me to watch Power. I can't help that it's 3 o'clock to train.
Well, last time I was late because I took those fucking edibles, man.
You took the wrong
That's the
bag.
best story.
I'm like, well,
He said actually the reason I'm late was so I mixed these weed gummies in with regular gummies.
I didn't
I thought
mix
I
it.
knew which one. No, what happened was you got the munchies. You ate the whole bag.
I didn't go back because I'm like, well, I'm sitting there watching this movie in my bed, right? And I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll just have like maybe 3 or 4 of these like weed gummies, and then I'll just eat the other gummies
Yeah.
because he mixes them in the bag
Yeah.
with all the regular gummies. And I'm like, and I
Sounds
didn't.
like a very dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they all
Fucking
fucking
smash
look
the
alike,
whole
man.
bag.
And I'm eating them, and I realize, oh my god, I don't really know which ones are which, and I can't taste.
Yeah.
They don't taste any different. I'm like, oh fuck. And then I'm like, oh, it's time to eat. How come I can't get my head off this pillow? Oh fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh fuck it. I'm like, that's pretty much what happened.
Yeah. Conan's like, all right, guys, fuck you.
I know what that's all he
You
does.
wore him out yesterday. Walked him twice.
He got 2 walks, and he's been like, I can't even say that word.
Oh, sorry.
And he starts to like fucking go nuts.
Gets
He knows.
excited.
Yeah. If I'm over there in the kitchen by that drawer
Yeah.
where his leash is, if I say walk, then he'll be like, whoa.
See how he went quiet? Yeah.
That seems.
All right. Done. Yeah.
How long was that? Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, episode 4
or 5.
We'll call it. We're gonna do
Four,
so
five.
call it episode
4, 5.
4. And then so next week I got a couple people wanting to be on the show. So upcoming weeks we're gonna start having some more guests.
Yeah.
We'll probably put them on the screen here.
screen back.
Super exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. And I want you to get
Which
Akeem.
one? Yeah, we'll hit up Akeem.
See if he wants to be on the show. He said he'd be on my last show, but I just
Yeah, he'll do it.
Yeah,
I'm
so
sure he will.
but I hadn't talked to him. So
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with Akeem Williams these days.
It's insane.
He's
Insane.
huge.
I never understood why he never got as much respect at the shows as he's had. He's had better respect this year.
He's one of my favorites. He has been for
But-
years. And he's such a cool dude.
He's
So
so
cool.
nice.
So nice.
I like people. I've never
Like
really talked to him.
genuinely like a nice person. Like,
Yeah, I've never really talked to him that much.
I mean, I'm gonna run into him in the alley because he fucking picks up cars for deadlifts and quarantine. Like, I really think he like was doing like deadlifts with cars and shit when he couldn't get in the gym.
Oh shit.
He's I look at him and I'm like,
Huge human.
he's like hanging in his fucking biceps. Like, I'm
We
like,
posted a picture recently of him doing a front row bicep,
Yeah, and it's
and I'm
just
like,
like-
it just looks like all fucking arms.
yeah,
It's huge.
They look
it's huge.
massive.
But his fucking legs are what's really impressive.
Yeah.
Like, they're
He
insane.
just needs
And from the
man,
side.
If he just had lower, if his lats just
we
came-
got some low lat techniques.
yeah, if he just he needs to work on that because that's his only
Yeah,
that's the
I
only
agree.
thing- that's the only thing keeping him back.
Yeah, but I mean, he was 6. He broke top 10.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
he should be
he's-
like top 3.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
how big
No,
he is.
for
That's how
he
big
should
he
be
is.
top 3.
Yeah.
I think he's that caliber. Body.
When Dave was working with him, I just felt like he wasn't coming in, and I don't mean this as bad as Dave because Dave's a good prep coach, but he wasn't coming in tight
Well,
enough.
sometimes you have to get the right. Like, you could work with this person, I could work with this person, and Kristen could do it, and one's going to be the right fit. Because personality matters just as much at that level. It's like how much you vibe with a person. You're going to work harder, you're going to do stuff differently. And if you connect, you can read their bodies better.
Yes.
Like even because like we get it, like we instantly fall into training, like there was no learning curve.
Yeah, nothing, zero.
It was
Yeah.
really interesting watching
So-
it too. Like the first time, it was like first day in, you're straight.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like the same thing happens with nutrition and everything. Like you can fall into that if you're just not with the right fit for you. You can get better. You could take Mr. Olympia with the wrong person and still win Mr. Olympia, but then put him with the right person and he's untouchable.
Do you think some of it's trust, inherent trust?
I think so, but I think it's even like when you get to that level, I think training comes into a huge part of it. Like how you train, what you're doing. It's just like,
Yeah, you like train like I like train.
yeah, but I also know how to tweak stuff. I
Yeah.
tweak stuff a little differently
Absolutely.
than you do. So it's kind of like, but I can fall in touch with, we need to do this.
So the way
let's do
I would
this.
get around that, I'm going to tell you, I'll just be honest, we got to get around and just exhaust myself.
Yeah, but see that, but to me,
It's not as good.
That's not as good.
No,
so
no,
that's
it's
what I'm
not
saying. But you could do great and
But I
it'd
was,
be
just
like,
I was just feeding my own ego because I like the feeling
Yeah.
of
well, it'd be
exhaustion.
like, let's just take, like we took Kristen. If, let's say you had her dialed in on nutrition, but I had her dialed in on training, I wouldn't do this with anybody else. But with like you, if we could make it match that way, you
Absolutely.
could get the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
With however it is. I mean, and doing different things with different, it's just like when we work together, it's like, I take some of your diet stuff or whatever I know you use. I hope you use some of the training stuff. I learned training stuff
Absolutely.
from you too, and then we just tweak
Like I
it
told
out.
you before, and I don't say this to a lot of people, I am thoroughly impressed with how good you are with training. I'm really, really impressed. I haven't seen any trainers that have impressed me for a long time. And
Well, I really appreciate it. I mean, that means a lot.
It's mostly because I could see, even if you don't know how to describe it, you understand the mechanics and you understand exactly what you're trying to do and how the thing is trying to fire off. And that is most people just want to move the weight from point A to point B.
And I can't work with
That doesn't work.
Yeah.
So like I'm like, wow, this is really good. So I usually would have to like, this is what I tell people, like, I can give you a workout, but it's not. I really want you to have a trainer.
The problem is
Because I can't be there with you.
I give people workouts all the time, but I'm like, fuck. So I have to like dumb down because I'm like, how am I supposed to describe exactly how I want you to do this lat put on if you're not standing there?
Right.
Like I can't get on you and be like, no, pull here, do this, angle this way, move your back this way.
So some of that is how your brains work, and so.
Yes.
But I mean, I think with the top level guys, it's like if Akeem was with us, I'm saying, or dieted prepping with us, I'm just going to use him for example. I would want him here, and I would want to train him every day.
So that's
Like I would want to be with him to put his best package. It's just like how Jansen does with like Walker and them. I mean,
that's interesting because I remember several years ago, it was like probably 2010, maybe 2009. It was right when Victor Martinez had that problem coming back from Europe, and he got stuck for like 9 months in like a fucking holding cell.
Yeah.
So before he won the Arnold there, that prep, he wanted me to prep him. So, but he wanted me to come out to New York every fucking. And I'm like,
Alright.
I can't do that.
tell him we'll go.
I had so
When
many
you do that,
people-
I'll peace out. You're going to handle everybody here. I'm out. I would love to have one person.
I said, look, man, it looks like you. I was just honest with him. Look, man, I said, what you need is someone who's right there. And so he did. He got.
See, I love in person, and I would love to do that. I would love to take a top 5 Olympia
But-
guy and be like, cool, that's 10 weeks. You're stuck with me.
But
Let's see how nasty I can get.
But I agree that that's the way you want to train those kind
That
of
level, like, and they deserve that. I think if you're not giving them that at that point,
Well, it's just at that time in my career.
No, I'm not-
I was so
I'm not
into
saying
it, I
this is not-
couldn't-
I'm
Now I
saying-
would be like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
do this. Yeah, absolutely.
you'd be like, Zach, take care of all these people here. I'm out.
I would say, come on with me, man. We're
Yeah.
going. We're going to go do this.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, kind of funny, because I remember talking to Victor, and I said, what do you really want, man? Because I'm all into the psychology. I got to understand where you're coming from. So he says, Dad, you know what I really want, man? I want to, for one time in my life, I want to follow through and succeed at something.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can work with this guy.
Right.
Like
100%.
The only problem was I couldn't be in New York as much as he needed me to. I just simply could not. I had
Well, it's
family,
just-
I had
yeah.
children. I was like, ugh.
It's just hard with that level, but I think that level deserves it, and to get their best. Like I said with Akeem, like if we had Akeem, I'd be like, cool. Well, you're going to be here for the next 6 months. Look at Brandon when he went to O2. Dude never would have done anything. Went to O2, fucking put on a person.
Yeah, well, he did a really good job.
Yeah,
I still.
But
think-
it's having that every day. Look at Rami. I mean, that's how they're training. Your trainer's with you every meal, hitting everything,
Now,
whether
remember-
it's coming
now
from
remember,
somebody
Peter,
else.
Now, this is the audience. Remember, these people are all Olympia competitors.
You're right.
Yeah.
So it requires that kind of specificity.
Absolutely.
To get ready for a normal show, it doesn't.
No.
I mean, it certainly wouldn't hurt.
No, it'd be
it'd be
awesome.
great.
But not everyone's going to get what we get, where you're with your coach
Right.
every day, literally every day.
We should have a coach series.
Like I see both of you every day, and I'm doing your nutrition and training. Well, you do arm day and shoulder days, and he does my nutrition. So you get to see me every day. I get to see you every day. It's a completely different ballgame than somebody. I'm like, cool. Here's your check-ins. I mean, I can work great with that, but it's not the same. Yeah,
it's not the same thing.
I'm not like, no, angle your leg 2 inches outside on this movement.
Actually, I really find it interesting when I see. I can't help it, but I always see it, and it bothers me. I don't know, it shouldn't bother me when I see other trainers, they're working with somebody, and when the person's doing their set, they're not even looking at doing fucking around their phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh. Like, because if it was me, man, I'd be like, you're not paying attention, man. I don't need you. Bye-bye.
Some people just want to work out, though.
I get it.
I mean, some people don't want to be trained like that. Like, some of my people are like, tell me what to do. Bye. Like, get the fuck away from me. Okay. Like, they just want somebody to, like, I honestly would want, if it wasn't like you or somebody else, I would, like, write me a fucking program that don't, like, leave me alone. Like, I got it. Like, tell me what you want to hit and give me the program and the sets. I got this. But I don't want to have to make all the programming for myself. We've talked about that before.
It's so much easier.
It's harder. I just, like, I want to be able to turn off my brain and be like, cool, I'm going to go get, instead I'm like, I got a set of 405 on rows, and I'm like, fuck, now what am I going to do next? Hold on, I got to do this set. What do I want to do with this?
I think it's time for me to smash some candy and
I got to go.
Sandwich.
I need to eat again, and we got to do my body fat and stuff.
Yes.
So. All right.
So,
episode 4.
Episode 4, we're out. Thank you so much.
We never said the name of the show.